Love with 6 to shoot. Back out top to Bradley. Got to recognize that. Jumper up for 2, and he got it. Oh, Jaden Bradley, a clutch bucket. So inbound out to Hogarth. Knocked away by Love, and a steal. Off to KJ Lewis. Slams it home with 11.5 to go. And Arizona up by 6. Oh, what a big play. The play.
And the Wildcats defense did it down the stretch in Palm Springs to take down the Michigan State Spartans last Thanksgiving Day to give the Wildcats the win 74-68 and keep them unbeaten on this early season. Welcome to the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Countdown to Tip-Off Show. I am David Kelly, joined by Kelvin Ifan, as well as J.W. Madden, getting you set for the return to the floor today for the Arizona Wildcats as they will take on the Colgate Raiders at McKale Center with tip-off coming up here at 1 o'clock. And the Wildcats back home after the brief trip to Palm Springs. Played 3 games at home prior to that, won all 3, and obviously undefeated on the season at 6-0. This will begin an interesting stretch of games in December. Kind of a tune-up today for the Arizona Wildcats against Colgate, and then the schedule gets real fun for this team starting next Saturday against Wisconsin. And then you've got the Alabama game coming up, followed by Purdue, Florida Atlantic, all as we head into Pac-12 conference play. All of those teams on the backside of this game today are going to be ranked. So, Kelvin, this is going to be a nice game for these guys to get back on the floor. They haven't played in over a week. An interesting kind of start to the season where you played, the first 6 games in 18 days, and now you're going to play like one game, I believe it's in 15 days.
Right. And that little break sometimes, especially after that start, and people forget you summer. Also, the guys went on where they traveled and played in a different country, Israel, I believe. So you kind of need that little break. You've been battling against each other. The practices have all been tough because it's early in the season. So guys are just out there battling against each other. So you need that little break so now you can come back in and make that stretch run. Well, it's not really a stretch run, to get the season started, actually.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like this was like nice, though, because nice to get that break for guys to be able to kind of work on some of their fundamentals. And because you play so many games in so many days, you really don't give that opportunity to get into the gym and work on a whole lot during those stretch of games. You're kind of getting ready, you're game planning and that kind of thing. But in stretches like this, and obviously you've got finals that are coming up as well, that's going to kind of play into that. But you can kind of work on a lot of that individual stuff during this time period. So it's actually been, I think, a nice type of situation where they've been able to reset, refresh, work on stuff as now they begin this last stretch of the non-conference here, which is obviously going to be a gauntlet after today.
Yeah, that's right. You get that, again, you get that time just to take the breather. You get to go see the family for a couple of days, which is huge. I mean, you've been locked in and just working and trying to bring this chemistry together with this basically new team with 2-3 different new starters out there. So I just think that time was very important for the guys, like you said, to get that little extra work in on some of your games and working on that 3-point shot and free throws for Balo, getting in the weight room, because sometimes you miss that weight room because you're playing so many days and you don't want to wear your body down. So get back in that weight room a little bit there. And most importantly, you're a student. And that gives you a few days to get some tutoring in, because trust me, you be needing that coming around finals time.
How did that work for you, kind of the weight part of it during the season? What types of things did you want to do even back then to kind of just keep yourself strong, but at the same time not overdo it?
Yeah, we tried to get in there at least a couple times a week. And me, myself, my body, when I was in basketball, they really tried to, watch out for me bucking up too much because I, kind of had the football type of body. So I was mostly on, low weights but high reps, type of situation. But 2 times a week, 2 times a week, early in the week usually, because, how Pac-12 is, you play on Thursdays and Saturdays.
Yeah. And J.W. Madden also joining us here this morning. And J-Dub, obviously, this is a game against a team from the East. You always kind of worry about these games for schools, whether it's the Patriot League or the Ivy League. These are teams that generally have a lot of veteran guys, a lot of fifth-year guys that have been together and know each other, and they can kind of sneak up on you in these situations.
Yeah, and this particular team from the East, with all those things you mentioned, has been to 4 consecutive NCAA tournaments.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 4-year, 5-year seniors who have been there, done that. Kelvin's talking about what this team's working on. What I saw in that Michigan State game, similar to the end of the Duke game, right? You saw the seniors step up in crunch time, make big plays down the stretch. So as far as knowing that you can count on that from the coaching staff, they know. They've been in 2 giant games against crazy good opponents. And they can finish those games. Now, cleaning up those little mistakes in a game like this today, DK, you're talking about a veteran-laden team. They've been in big games. Now, they haven't made any runs. I believe they've been into 6 total NCAA tournaments, have Colgate, 4 consecutive, 0-6 so far in the tournament. But those guys know how to play deep. They've been winning their conference. They're always favored. They're favored again this year. So when a team like that comes in, you know they're going to come in, Kelvin, with that attitude that we're about to pull a program-defining win out in McKale Center.
Yeah, of course. And, Colgate wouldn't even schedule this game unless they wanted that opportunity. They understand that this is a team, a veteran team that they're bringing in. But as you guys said also, Arizona is a veteran team. When you look at Balo, a leader who's been around here 3 years, a guy that had to work his way up to get himself in a position, the best shape of his life, to be, one of the top, captains on the team. Then you go to the transfers, Love, and then also you have Keyshawn Johnson, right there. So I just feel like you have veteran guys on your team as well that are leading. Boswell, he's young, but he's a little general himself. So it's just a veteran team that I don't think you're going to be able to sneak up on. Colgate going to have to come in here and really play their best game to even really be in this game, because I think these guys are just on another level right now.
All right, let's tell you a little bit about what we've got coming up for you over the course of the next 3 hours, leading you up to the network part of this show at noon.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we'll dive into Michigan State, a 74-68 win on Thanksgiving Day. Get you set on Colgate, what to expect there. Our spotlight on a cat today is going to be the point guard at Point Guard U, Kylan Boswell. You will hear from him. A new segment, DK with TL. We'll hear what I asked the head coach this week at the press conference. A view from courtside will be Darren Sutton from the Pac-12 Network. He will call this game today, and our opponent scouting report will come from Eric Malinowski. He is the play-by-play man for Colgate on ESPN 3. All of that coming up for you over the course of the next 3 hours. We've got you till noon. Let's hear from the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats, Tommy Lloyd, on if anything has kind of stood out to him in these first 6 games of the season.
I think that the guys have responded in a way that, is encouraging. That's what you want to put your team in, situations where things aren't easy and things aren't always going to go in your way. I mean, that's just how the game of basketball has kind of always been and probably always will be. So yes, but each team has to kind of go through the journey and the growing pains on their own.
And one of the guys that has kind of really been at the forefront of this offense through these first 6 games has been Keyshawn Johnson.
Quickly down left side is Hogard with the ball. His pass tipped away by Keyshawn. Johnson down with the windmill jam.
Windmill jam indeed. Keyshawn Johnson just really doing it in a lot of ways, doing it inside for this team. We have seen that he can do it outside for this team. When you talk about the 2 veteran players that this program has picked up, Caleb Love and Keyshawn Johnson. Right now, I think maybe we kind of weren't sure. I mean, we knew Keyshawn was a solid player there. I think there were more people that kind of knew more about Caleb Love because he came from a program like North Carolina, and San Diego State was a program that really just came on the scene last year with their run to the Final Four. But he has been a complete eye-opener as Keyshawn Johnson for this team.
Well, I think what's more surprising for most people probably is his shooting. I think his inside play was there at San Diego State. He was more of an inside type of presence. And I think one of the reasons why he wanted to transfer to a program like Arizona is because of the more open offense and the opportunities to display more of some of the NBA qualities that is needed. But he's a high energy competitor. You know, when you see a guy out there, he's not afraid of what size the guy is. He's a guy that can play positions 1 through 5 on defense. So I just think that he adds an element to this team that we haven't had in a while at that forward position. He brings a little bit more stretch with the 3, but the athleticism to get up and run the court and to get the lobs is just a little different from what we've had.
And you can see the numbers right here, right? So freshman 1 3-point attempted per game as a freshman, 1 as a sophomore, 1 as a junior, 1 as a senior at SDSU. This year, 3. So he's averaging 3 3-point attempts per game this year. You're talking about that offensive freedom. We mentioned the last pregame, they didn't have a lot of offensive rebounding, Kelvin. So maybe the coaching staff over there, some fans might look at Keshad and say, oh, all of a sudden he learned how to shoot. That might not be the case. He just might not have that freedom,
For sure.
which he certainly does have here with the Arizona Wildcats.
And I always mention this. I saw him shoot, and I saw the form, and I saw him knock down about 33s in front of kids and families. The first time that he's been in Tucson, that just doesn't happen. Usually, guys are a little, your nerves kind of getting to you. But man, he just sit there and just was wetting them the same way you watching him do playing in these games.
And Keshad Johnson comes in here, obviously, mentioned San Diego State this week. He showed up on the mock draft boards for ESPN, both him and Colin Boswell in ESPN's initial mock draft, projected to be second-round picks in the NBA draft if they decide to go in this year. And Tommy Lloyd was asked if he thinks his system has helped to elevate Keshad Johnson's stock.
I don't know what his stock is, and I didn't know he was a stock that was traded on a market. So Keshad's one of these guys whose best days are ahead of him. And Keshad came from a really solid program, and and he's really improved as a basketball player over the course of his college career. And now maybe he's finally at a stage of his development where he's able to kind of take advantages of the next step. And maybe a little bit of it's playing at Arizona, but maybe a lot of it's just Keshad where he's at in his career and he's ready.
You gotta love Tommy Lloyd, man. Tommy, I'm gonna start calling it Club Tommy. Those weekly press conferences, because he usually has a few zingers for us in there. But again, and that was one of the topics of conversations, just because we're starting to see these mock drafts. Arizona kids are starting to show up on these things, and I think I asked you earlier in the week, is that something kind of that guys are starting to think about, starting to look at when these things kind of happen, and then they're out there now.
And I think, again, with social media, I think it's thrown in your face a little bit more. But as a player, you don't think about it a whole lot because, again, I think you're focused on playing the game at the time. Because when you look at most guys that when your name started to appear on those mock drafts, it's because of the work that you've done and the success that your team has had. So you continue just to work and just to ball, because that way maybe your stock continues to elevate. But no, to me, that's nothing guys talked about. Usually when I heard that talk, it was right around tournament time. When you get into the tournament, guys starting to say, man, when we make a run, man, I could be a first rounder.
And let's be real.
That's about it.
Kelvin, when we were in high school about the same time, there was a couple magazines, right? And they might have a blurb. Sports Illustrated had a thing in the back, high school athletes. But since the internet and smartphones and all this stuff in the last 20 years, every player in today's modern college athletics has seen their name on a list somewhere going back for the last 10 years. Because guess what? There's people who make money off of running websites that do that. That's the world we live in today. So athletes, you're talking about athletes who are juniors and seniors, in the case of Keshad, they've been seeing their names on lists, Kelvin, going back since they were in junior high school. It's not a new thing. It's the distraction of whether or not you're paying attention to what evaluations you're getting from some outside source. Don't even know you. They're not at practice. They don't know what your work ethic's like, any of those things. The players either pay attention to that, and get invested and just fixated on it, or they just brush it off and they just go about their business, right? And as far as fans go, they want to see their players as high as possible on those lists. But from the players and Coach Lloyd's perspective, obviously, it's just, Kelvin, business as usual.
And I'll say this, from my experience of being around all kind of guys that have made it to the league and had opportunities to get workouts, to me, the bigger time is to work on that stuff in the summer, the stuff that you hear about your game, the evaluations that the coach go talk to the NBA scouts. Coach Olsen used to be known for that. He'll go talk to the NBA scouts and ask, whereabout is he in your draft process, where he at, and then what do we need to work on, and he'll come back and tell Damon, Khalid, or whatever the guys were exactly what they needed to work on. And those guys will work on that in the summer. And usually a good coaches, if they see you work on something and they see you do something in practice, they'll allow you to do it in the game. So if you go back to even Khalid and Damon and how freely they played and how high both of those guys ended up drafted, even at their heights, it was because of the work that they put in and from the things that they learned from the NBA executives.
And Kelvin, during the season, some of the worst decision-making we've seen from Arizona players over the years has been guys who are trying to prove to scouts that they could do things that they say they can't do, right? You know what I'm saying? So like you see 6'10" guys who are like, yeah, this guy would be a first-round pick if he could knock down a 20 to 25-footer.
Right.
Next thing you see in games, he starts taking those shots to try to prove to coaches, or prove to the scouts. Don't do that. Do not play based on some kind of scout's evaluation of what you need to work on. As Kelvin said, time and place, do that in the summer. Right now, it's about Colgate.
Tommy Lloyd, though, asked if he talks to his players about their mock draft positions.
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all. I live in reality. I don't live in mock or hypothetical world. So, you know what? I don't at all. I mean, there's nothing of value that's going to help a player reading his name in a mock draft early in a basketball season. We don't address it. And, when we get down towards the end of the season or in the postseason and they're considering their options, we go through everything when it matters.
And I was going to say this, DK. I remember seeing my name in the mock draft, right, in football, and I was supposed to have went third round. Do you know how disappointing that was not to get drafted? I mean, I talked to the scouts, and they called me during the draft around the fifth and the sixth round, starting to say, hey, man, right now, the way this thing works, you might not be able to get drafted, but you're going to be high on our list as free agents, So, but what I'm saying is, a lot of time that mock draft, man, is they don't understand what teams are looking for, what teams are going to need, what different things like that, what ends up happening, whatever the background noise is. And I just say, that's why I always tell kids, don't worry about that. Just ball, man. If you ball, things are going to end up in the right hands and you'll be in the right situation.
All right, it is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. Wildcats getting set to take on Colgate this afternoon at McKale Center. Breakfast with us, lunch with the fellas today. We'll get a break in here, come back, and start to turn our attention to the Colgate Raiders, as well as give you a look at the line for today's game, 21.5 in favor of your Arizona Wildcats. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show with J.W. Madden and Kelvin Ifan. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
If you're a do-it-yourselfer looking for quality car parts in Tucson, look no further. Advance Auto Parts has 6 Tucson locations with over 75 years in business. Advance Auto Parts is the largest car parts retailer in the U.S., and customers know they can trust their products, like Die-Hard batteries. Now with free installation, only found at Advance Auto Parts stores. Take advantage of our same-day delivery and pickup. Just visit our website at stores.advanceautoparts.com. And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Advance Auto Parts, for all your car repair needs. Now a proud radio sponsor of the University of Arizona Wildcats.
Desperate buyers have created tremendous opportunity for sellers. If you've had the slightest thought of selling your home, it's time to call Sean Poston with the Poston Results Team at Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. Why choose the Poston Results Team? Past performance, more money in your pocket, over a 65% referral rate, an incredible Poston Results Team staff, and most important, communication, because you and your home matter. The Poston Results Team. When buying and selling really mattered, go to TucsonHomeValues.com. That's TucsonHomeValues with an S.com.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live? When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Don't let heating or plumbing problems spoil your holidays. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. We'd like to wish you a safe and happy holiday season and a very Merry Christmas. When you need us, call 520-440-4069 for honest service to the Tucson area for over 22 years.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park within the Vale School District. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rock & K with home savings up to $35,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290. Our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game is brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
All right, we're back here at studio. Let's take a listen to something that happened last night in college basketball.
Those turnovers. Gillis, another long pass down the floor. Edey with the catch, can't finish. Heidi's trying, no. Preston secures the rebound, and we've got another upset, but they're going to chase everybody off the floor. There's still 0.3 seconds to play. No good. The ball will be allowed to roll out so that they can get away from it, and that'll do it. And we've got a cat court storm for the second straight year. Northwestern upsets number 1 Purdue in overtime.
Oh boy, but we might have a new number 1 team in the country come this week, and that number 1 team could very well just be your Arizona Wildcats. That talk will start now.
Do you know when the last time they were ranked 1 was?
When was that?
That was when Solomon Hill and Caleb Tarczewski and Mark Lyons were on the team.
Wow.
So 2013, they were ranked number 1 for 8 consecutive weeks until they lost to UCLA on January 24th, 2013.
It's a long time. Wow, it's been that long?
It has been that long.
Wow, I would not have thought it was 10 years ago. I would not have thought it was that long ago. That was a good team, though. Very good team. We shall see what happens. Kansas went down in Maui. Purdue goes down in Chicago. And now Arizona is sitting on the doorstep of being the number 1 team in the country come next week, as long as they don't slip today at home against Colgate. We also want to hear from you today on the show. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show. We are also brought to you by Dave & Buster's. It is the best place to eat, drink, and play while watching this afternoon's game between the Wildcats and Colgate. Arizona getting set to take on the Raiders, and Tommy Lloyd this week asked if he has any connections to this school.
I know Matt. I mean, he not real well. I mean, Matt and I spent some time as court coaches at USA Basketball together, but this is what I know. He's a good coach, and watching his team play, it's fun. It's fun to watch him play as a coach because they do some really unique things. And and it's obviously I can tell the way he coaches and the way his team plays. He's a really good coach who's not afraid to think outside the box. He's got smart players. They've been to the last 3 NCAA tournaments in a row. They were, I think, like unanimous picks to win their league this year. So, I look at TJ, who helps me with the scheduling sometime, a little bit like, TJ, what the heck are you doing? This is these guys are really, really good, and we chose to play them. And he just laughs at me. But these are the type of games we want to play. And I got a lot of respect for Matt and a lot of respect for, what his program has done and what he's built. And, we're expecting a real battle on Saturday.
TJ would be TJ Benson. He is the special assistant to the head coach and recruiting coordinator for the University of Arizona. He takes care of a lot of the scheduling, if not all of it, for this program, and they have put together a dynamic schedule. And again, you think about all the games that you're playing coming up and coming off a Michigan State game. But again, here's a very, very good mid-major that has a track record. As we said, they have been the dominant team in the Patriot League, which is, again, it's a smaller league, but they have been the dominant team in that league now for the last 3 years, 3-time defending Patriot League champions. They come in here obviously having returned 3 starters from that club that won a program high 26 games last season. And Lloyd, on how Colgate has been so successful over the course of the last 4 years.
It just shows me that they have a great culture, and that guys are, for one, probably valuing their education experience, which should be important in college. And 2, they probably have a healthy basketball culture where guys really value being part of a team and love their teammates. So, I think the consistency, they've been able to perform, makes them, one of the probably, more impressive, mid-major type programs in the country.
Kelvin, what kind of worried you guys? Maybe it didn't worry you guys when you played against programs like this back in the day.
Well, first thing you worry about is overlooking them just because of the name on their jersey. Back during our time, it wasn't really a lot of big mid-majors that really made you worry about them. And maybe being young, we wasn't smart enough to worry about them. We got knocked off by Miami of Ohio in the first round, so maybe we didn't know none of those guys, and all of a sudden you're in a dogfight with some real fighters. What I like about these programs now, the Colgate type teams, is that now they're getting to get from a pool of players that are playing the club basketball. These are the guys go to Colgate that are guys that know they're not one and done, know they're not going to the NBA, and they have to really be about the culture. So you're playing against more than just individual players. You're playing against a program. You're playing against culture, and that's what these guys bring. So it's important that U of A schedule these type of games because these are the type of teams that you see in that first, second round of a tournament after they upset upset somebody. So you need to have a healthy respect for them.
A different world too, right? Because back in those days, Miami of Ohio, you couldn't go look up on YouTube and look some highlights up, right? But Colgate's been in the tournament the last 3 years. If the players on Arizona want to go outside of what the coaching staff's showing them in the film room and go and look up some of these players, Kelvin, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's many resources. Nowadays, it's hard to sneak up on a team. It's about those players at Arizona just taking that team seriously, coming in with the mentality of, it doesn't matter about the name, doesn't matter about, any kind of height differential or anything like that. It's just a matter of playing Arizona basketball and just winning the game and convincingly.
Well, this is a Colgate team that's not ducking anybody. They played Syracuse earlier this year. I believe they're up 20 at one point in that
24.
game before losing. And they've got us on the schedule today. They're going to play Illinois later this month, Iona, which is a very good program as well. So, again, the Colgate has put together a pretty nice schedule for themselves as they get ready for their run in the Patriot League that's coming up. And when you look at, I guess, from the standpoint for Arizona, we mentioned, again, they have not played since last Thursday. This will be the only game they'll play until next Saturday. So that's going to be a pretty good stretch of days with only one game. Tommy Lloyd this week on the break after playing so many games. They played 6 games in an 18-game period before getting their first a little bit of a lengthy break here to start this season.
We're obviously early in the journey. It's nice to get a little break once in a while, and you try to cram a few games into November, and you get to December, and early Decembers are hard in college basketball. It just seems like you line up a bunch of tough games, and you got finals, and then you got have you lost a couple games? Have you won all your games? All the human nature stuff starts to set in. So it's always a lot to unravel.
Well, and the Wildcats have not lost any games, so they have navigated the early part of this stretch of games very, very well. And, again, you've got a gauntlet now that's on the horizon where you're going to play again a bunch of games in a short period of time. Starting today through, I guess, 3 weeks from now, they'll play another, 5 games? 5 games, I believe, in the next 23 days. Tommy, on what the team will gain from playing many games in a short period.
At the end of the day, I just don't think you can overthink it. We play Saturday afternoon. The ball's going to get tipped. You got to be ready to go for 40 minutes. I don't care if you haven't played in 9 days. You played the night before, and so that's got to be the approach. Overall, it's kind of nice to get a break. A little bit. From maybe the game pressure and kind of clean some things up. And I just know this: our December schedule is awesome. I think the next 5 games we have to close out non-conference, and everyone looks to be an NCAA tournament quality team, and I think that's the challenge this group needs. And no bold predictions. There's a chance, probably a good chance we don't get through it unscathed. But I think that it's all going to be good things for us, and I'm excited just to kind of take it week by week.
I think, guys, that this is a perfect schedule, right? Because they had a week off, they could play today. They'd have another week off, then they play Wisconsin next Saturday. Then you're talking about that stretch where they're playing Purdue, Alabama, and FAU all in a 7-day stretch, Kelvin. So if anybody needs to get healthy, you need to work on some little wrinkles. You've been looking on film and seeing some things guys need to clean up. But then when it comes down to that challenge, once again, they've already gone into some tough places this year and really challenged that team. Getting the time, Kelvin, to get those guys on the same page, make sure you work on those sloppy turnovers, that type of thing, boxing out the right way, and then coming into Purdue, Alabama, FAU, all within 7 days, 3 quality teams. That's exactly what the coaching staff's looking for.
Yeah, that's what you make these schedules for. You're trying to make sure that you have enough good competition to when you get into conference, you're at your best. And then when you're going into tournament play, you're used to playing these type of team. I think it's very smart to have a schedule like this, starting with Colgate. But when you get into that Purdue, Alabama, and Florida Atlantic, people trust me. I've watched Florida Atlantic over and over. That's the team that scares me the most out of all the teams. So that's right at the end of December, right before Christmas. So these guys just got to take care of business one game at a time. That way, you don't let these, a loss or two start to, snowball. I just feel like that they got to just take these games one at a time. Don't worry. That's what I was talking about, the number 1 ranking. and having that ranking, getting that number one ranking only is going to make it a little bit tougher because these teams, you know how they come after people with that ranking next to their name.
Yeah, well, we thought it was going to be a 1-2 potentially when you got to Purdue and Indianapolis. It may be a 1. We don't know where Purdue is. We didn't anticipate Arizona might be in the 1, but that's kind of what you potentially are looking at now. Now, last year, obviously, the Wildcats did not play the MTE, a multi-team event this year. They did play one last year when they went to Maui, you'll remember. Kind of same scenario as this. They played on the 23rd. They played the day before Thanksgiving, and then they did not play again until the next Thursday. So they had about the same amount of stretch of days off before that first conference game at Utah, and they came out flat in that game in Salt Lake City last year and got beat by 15 points. So Tommy Lloyd asked this week if he was concerned about the same thing happening today with the Wildcats potentially after a long layoff from Thanksgiving come out flat against Colgate.
I don't know. We'll find out Saturday. I'll let you know at the first media timeout. You come over, we can talk about it.
Club Tommy continues to be open for business at McKale Center. Please tip your waiters and your waitresses.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, how is it going to affect your team? Well, I don't know yet. We haven't gotten to that bridge. So I'll tell you one thing about Purdue. You're talking about the number 1 seed and Maui. They beat number 11's ranked Gonzaga, number 7 Tennessee, and number 4 Marquette on their way to the Maui title. I mean, that Purdue team's not going to fall very far. Their resume is still, the best resume in the country, despite that loss last night. So whatever their ranking is, if that matters to anybody out there listening, it's not going to be much lower than 3 or 4.
5.
Yeah.
And it's like Tommy said, you're not going to get through these preseasons. Not many teams get through these preseasons unscathed. You're going to lose a game or two potentially along the way. And like he said, even if this team loses a game, he doesn't feel like it's going to affect them.
And you hate to see it. You would love to go 45-0 and win the national title. But the reality, me and J-Dub been in here, and I know you know from all your years, is that weight of being undefeated and winning, it adds an extra weight to you. And sometimes that loss also helps a coach get in there and work on some of the small things, because I don't care, how great of a coach you are. When your team is undefeated, they're listening, but they're not quite listening because things are working. Things are working, and usually the only way you get competitors' ear a lot of time is they take a L and they don't like it.
There's that mentality, K-Rock, as a coach and a player. When you go into it being your best, following what the coaching staff has given you as a player, that's the way to go. If you go into it thinking, I got to be perfect today, then you've already lost, right? And that idea of like going into a season late as a 30-0 team or whatever, like that St. Joe's team that one year, like there's something to be said about learning from your mistakes along the way. And if you start thinking like, we're in foul, we got to make sure that we're perfect today, or else we're going to get stumbled up by somebody that we shouldn't. That mentality already going in, Kelvin, that's not the way to approach it.
And I remember that game against Utah last year. I mean, they big man was knocking down all type of threes, doing stuff that we wasn't expecting.
They inverted that offense, right?
Exactly. They brought their guys out. It was things we wasn't expecting that. And then also I think this team has a little more senior leadership though. From what I'm watching. Nothing against last year's team, but when I look at this team right here, I just feel like the veteran guys, even though they just got here, and that's not discount Larson. Larson is a senior leader of this team who's been around here for a while doing the dirty work. So I just feel like the senior leadership that this team has, I don't really see them looking over people too much.
All right, let's get another break in here. When we come back, we'll put the spotlight on a cat, and that spotlight today is going to go on the point guard, the sophomore point guard for your Arizona Wildcats, Kylan Boswell. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Countdown to Tip-Off show with Kelvin Efon, the captain from 1998, and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's been our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game. Brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindownDepot.com. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live? When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Are you ready to adopt? Come to the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. When you adopt from us, you will save more than one life. You'll also make room for the next pet in need. The Humane Society of Southern Arizona has been compassionately serving pets and the people who love them since 1944. Our knowledgeable adoption matchmakers will help you find the right pet for your home and support you after you adopt. We are open 7 days a week at our main campus at 635 West Roger Road. Learn more and see adoptable pets at hssaz.org.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet. Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
Frog and Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog and Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog and Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290. Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Akins knocked away, stolen. Here's Boswell. Stops, pops the three. It's good. Kylan Boswell, an open three off the turnover. Timeout, Michigan State.
Yeah, Kylan Boswell, through the first 6 games, second in the country in three-point field goal percentage, connecting at a 59% clip so
That's pretty
far.
good.
Yeah, very good, considering I think the national average is 33.
What's good, Kelvin? 40?
40s, yeah. If you can shoot 40% three,
really good.
you're doing a pretty good job out there. And he's shooting dang near close to 60 right now.
If you shoot 40, then you can stay on the floor shooting, and the coaches won't pull you.
And he's not taking a lot of threes. That's the other thing. It's not like he's jacking up a lot of threes. He's just making the ones he may take 4, 5, 6 a game.
Shot selection. He picks his spots. And I tell kids, when you watch him, he does what you call a 1 count. I got that from Coach Olsen. And that means that usually guys get it and they shoot it. I mean, that's a 0 count, right? Before even looking. When he gets that ball, his base is wide. He goes down like he's squatting and just shoot up and follow through, man. I mean, his base is just beautiful. Form is beautiful. It's like he's shooting a free throw, but he's just adding more legs into it. Just a beautiful form, and he picks his spots. The shots are wide open. That's what you notice about guys who pick spots. They're wide open when they take it. If you up on him, he's going to get into the paint, try to get a touch of the paint, and find somebody.
All right, let's hear from Colin Boswell, the sophomore who met with the media this week, and he talked about the fact that over the course of the next 3 weeks, the Wildcats are only going to play on Saturday. And if that almost is kind of a mental grind on the team to only have 1 game per week in a stretch.
You could say so for sure. I feel like us mentally are very tough as a team, and with the coach, Lloyd, he's one of the most tough guys I've ever met in my life. But yeah, I mean, I think our mental toughness is fine. Probably more physical for all of us because it's just very hard teams, very physical game in general.
Where have you seen yourself develop as a leader on the court compared to last season?
I say I'm more vocal, more communicating with my teammates more on the court. Really something I've tried to assert myself for this team. So when moments kind of get down the line or rough, people not thinking I'm saying random stuff. And times everybody just knows I'm being serious about the moment. Taking it serious basically. Yeah.
And was that a conversation with Coach Lloyd maybe before the season, or it just kind of naturally evolved into that?
I think it just naturally evolved into that. I kind of knew I had a bigger role coming into the season. I knew I'd have to be more of a leader for us to be a better team, the best team that we could possibly be. But yeah, I'd definitely say something more natural.
Do you have a preference, 6 games in 18 days or 1 game in 15 days, since that's kind of what we're in right now?
I don't know if I have a preference. Either one kind of sounds a little iffy, but it really doesn't really matter to me.
How often has Caleb or Kishad mentioned their experience playing in the Final Four on the championship game?
They've mentioned a few times. It's not something that we would talk about often. We just know in the back of our heads they'll have more experience, and especially when it comes down to March Madness and that line. They've been at those games that we're trying to get at. Now they came here to hopefully get over that hump. That's been the goal.
Do you think that experience has been something that has helped, especially in the Duke and the Michigan State games late?
For sure. They know those type of environments, how rowdy it can get. Those two help a lot when, like we can tell some of our younger guys are kind of like getting flustered. They can come and help calm the moment down for them and just kind of realize, it's not as big as it kind of will feel like sometimes.
KJ had that awesome block against Michigan State. The bench went crazy. What did you see on that play?
Just him being him. That's just who KJ is. Gives great effort. One of the best defenders in the country, hands down. He always playing as hard as he can, and we trust him to guard whoever we need to guard, the best player, if the case may be it. But yeah, that's just KJ.
Anytime a mid-major comes in here, they want a shot at Arizona.
Yeah.
But it's different when an NCAA tournament, year over year, NCAA tournament team comes in here and they're a mid-major and they carry the underdog mentality. What's the challenge of playing a team like that here?
I mean, like you said, yeah, every time those teams come in here, it's like the coach always says it's their championship game, So, I mean, if we're coming in with underestimating them or not at our full attention, giving them our full respect, they can easily come in here and, shock us by surprise. They're so Division I for a reason. That's why I feel like that we've done a really good job with that. Sometimes our first half has been a little slow, but I don't think no team really can hang with us in the second half, how we run and how we play, how our basketball is played, So just try to take care of business the best we can.
You proved that in another way against Michigan State, especially after you guys went down. You had just that kind of incredible comeback, incredible ability to withstand the storm even when it felt like all the momentum was going against you.
Definitely, for sure. I mean, I think that's more of us as, a team getting more bonding each other off the court. Nobody really, when we're out there and that type of stuff happens, nobody gets fazed by it because we know who we're playing with. We know that it's Arizona basketball, so all of us have each other's back. Those type of moments aren't really that big of a deal for us because we know that we can get through it for sure.
Colin, I know it's not quite the same this year, but last year you had that big tournament in Maui and then a bunch of time off and then go to Utah and things didn't, you guys said, things didn't seem to feel the same. You lost that game. Is there anything you got to kind of be aware of this time around after a long break like that, being that's what you went through?
I don't feel so. I mean, I feel like Coach Lloyd's biggest thing for us this year was our culture. And I feel like we have that set in place as a foundation in stone now for us where we can fall back to that. We know who we are as a team, as a unit. Last year, I mean, I feel like the culture could have been better, and I feel like Coach Lloyd's big philosophy now has been making sure that that's not an issue for us now. So now everybody knows what our culture is and everybody knows what to fall back to, I think those gaps and stuff won't matter.
So that can translate into maybe not getting too high after a win or something like that?
We prepare for every game the same, as hard as we're going to play, so when we win the game, it's not as big of an accomplishment as some people may take it.
Looking ahead to just how this month is going to go, where you're going to have, after Colgate, have 4 other teams that are either power conference or made a Final Four last year. Just looking at it from a player's standpoint, how excited are you to have all these opportunities, just one right after the other?
I love it. I'm a big competitor myself. It's awesome to know that we're going to be playing ranked teams throughout these next few weeks. And I feel like people still have saying like little slick stuff sometimes on social media, which, kind of brings fuel to the fire. So I personally can't wait to, just prove everybody wrong.
Well, speaking of social media, there are mock drafts out there and some have you on them. I've seen one with KJ on them. How much do you look at those?
I'm not really into that at all. If people have their own opinion where they think I'll be drafted, that don't really bother me at all. I'm just playing.
You see chirps on social media, anything specific?
Maturity. Can't say certain things, but yeah.
Probably nothing you should say.
Yeah, for sure.
Just mentally though, you see that, and then you and kind of throughout this team, everybody has the maturity to ignore that, even though we're in kind of a parallel era. People have access to you when they wouldn't 20 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you guys use your maturity, your experience to just drown out the noise? We're playing ball.
Well, one, I'd say besides only me as starting 5 has been college basketball for a minute now. Everybody's very older at half of the team, so they for sure have no worries about it. And then me personally, I don't really care what everyone says about me. I know who I am as a basketball player. I know what I bring to our team. Usually the young guys, sometimes you can see them, reading the stuff, and then we got to talk to them about it. But I think our starting 5 has a great job of making sure people are not too focused on what people are saying on social media.
You said earlier that you see the game better this time around, second year. Is that translating into the fact you're shooting so much better percentage-wise? Do you see things developing differently where you're going to have a better look at the basket, things like that? Or do you think it's just skill development and you're a better shooter?
I think a mix of both. I think towards the back end of last year, I started shooting better because I got more comfortable on the court. I know playing time was going up a little bit more, and I didn't feel so stressed in the beginning of the year. Now, starter, main player for the team. I think it's just my game coming to the surface now.
Yeah, was that, I think with that weekend in LA, was that a trigger for you, or when you look back on it last year, or anything else for that matter, or was it before then, when you say you started to feel more comfortable?
I think when I really felt comfortable was probably the Washington game at home last year. That's when I felt my most comfortable, and after that I was fine. But no, the LA games, I just was hot for those 2 games.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Of course.
That is Kylan Boswell this week with the media. And you look at, he mentioned obviously getting confidence from last season. Let's go back to last season. It was 6 games this season and the final 6 games last year. So a 12-game stretch for Kylan Boswell. Over that stretch, he's now shooting 61% from the floor and 61% from 3. That's including the 6 games going back to last season. So, this young man right now is on a stretch. They saw it at the end of last year and made the move to kind of insert him into the leadership role. And he's got the demeanor for it. I think that's the one thing that really jumps out for you is this young man has the demeanor to be the leader on the floor.
Yeah, no, he has like a little old soul about him, and for one, he came out with that nasty defensive disposition. I mean, when you're talking about a guy that's feisty, willing to box out big guys, fighting over screens, I mean, he's like a linebacker out there to me on the defensive end of the court. And then on the offensive end of the court, just a knockdown shooter and a guy that makes good decisions with the ball. So, you take your hats off to him, because I still can't believe he's only 18 years old.
And shooting still 100% from the line. Doesn't go to the line a lot, but 6 for 6 so far on the season. Head coach Tommy Lloyd on Kylan Boswell's efficiency.
Confidence about him on the court, but he just, like a lot of young players, he just needed more experience and continues to need more experience. But obviously I'm really happy where he's at, and it's. But we're 6 games into a long season, so he's not going to get a medal for playing well in the first 6 games. You got to continue to get better, and he knows that, and we're coaching him that way.
And you look at obviously he had a chance to go over and spend that time with the USA basketball team this summer, the U19 event over in Hungary. He started for 5 of those 7 games. Only scored 6 points and 2 assists for Team USA. They didn't get the gold medal. They only went 5-2. And Tommy asked as well about what the kind of gained from being a part of that USA basketball process.
Well, but I think it helped him, because I don't think it was perfect, and I think he struggled a little bit. But I think adversity and struggle is a great teaching tool. So I think that we were able kind of to tap into some of that. Some of his experience there and help him grow. And, I don't think he was satisfied with how he played or happy with how the team ended up doing. But we've used that as a teaching tool to help him gain more experience to further his development as a player.
Yeah, I don't think any USA basketball team is happy with not coming back from any international event without a gold medal.
No, that's it's supposed to be our game, and we're supposed to dominate that. So no matter what level, even if it's 12, you expect to win that. So I guarantee you. But as Coach said, though, you take those moments and you take that video of that game film and you break it down and you help your player get better. So regardless, do you really lose or do you learn?
All right, coming up in the next hour, DK with TL. I'll ask the head coach some of the things that I took away from the Michigan State game. We'll check your Pac-12 scoreboard and hear from Darren Sutton, who will call this game today for the Pac-12 Network. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show, along with Kelvin Efon, the captain, and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
As today's Spotlight on a Cat has been brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 30 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees, bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including 5 in Tucson and Southern Arizona, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 1,800 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after any accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
And an enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
Back to the holiday shopping adventures of Eugene Snarkle and his best friend Doug.
Hey, Eugene, we waited a little too long to get our shopping done. The shelves are looking pretty empty.
I was thinking of getting everyone a giant-sized bag of Cheezos.
We interrupt Eugene's great idea for this message.
Does your car, truck, SUV, or sleigh need a little maintenance to get road trip ready for the holidays? Check out jackfurriers.com for savings up to 50% off. Get your vehicle holiday road trip ready at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, here to get you there.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
The colors of this holiday season are green and red, which is perfect because right now at O'Reilly Chevrolet, we're having a red tag sale and you can save lots of green. The best news, your current vehicle has never been worth more than it is right now. So this holiday season, give us a call at 747-8000 or go to O'Reilly.com. Or better yet, see us in person on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads and something new for the holidays that will last for years to come at O'Reilly Chevrolet.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rock & Kay is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. Live rockandkay.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez-Lee, President of Meridian Wealth Management. As a fiduciary investment firm, our clients have trusted us to guide them down their financial paths for decades. Whether you are an individual or family, business, foundation, or nonprofit, we are committed to your long-term goals and financial futures. We are proud supporters of the Tucson community and all that makes our city so special. Visit online at meridianwealthllc.com to learn more about Meridian.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
And Walker around a high screen, hesitates, drives on Johnson, blocked, out of bounds by Keyshawn. Stayed with him defensively.
Excellent job there by Keyshawn Johnson in Arizona, defending without fouling.
Keyshawn Johnson tied for the team lead with Moteus Krivas with 8 blocks. Had that one down the stretch when he was playing the 5 for the Arizona Wildcats at the tail end of the game in Palm Springs. A win over Michigan State. Welcome back to the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. Here goes my wayward camera again. I'm David Kelly. We are streaming this show today. Video-wise, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitch, and Twitter at Wildcats Radio 1290 on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at Wildcats 1290 on Twitter. You can watch the video stream of the show there. You can also catch us on our audio streams, and we are in several places. Alexa has us, so just say, Alexa, put on Wildcats Radio 1290 while you're doing your, winter cleaning, fall cleaning around the house today, and getting the floors mopped and whatnot, maybe cooking some dinner. You can listen to the pregame show there. Also on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com and on the iHeart app. You can find us in all of those places.
Also, just to add to that, DK, if people out there are trying to find an old live stream that we've done, it's not on YouTube under videos. Check the live tab, and you'll find everything that we've ever done for all the pre- and post-game stuff is right there under the live tab.
Yeah, go to YouTube, and we also have some playlists there. So if you're looking for a specific show like the pregame show or the postgame show, DK on the sports tip, just click on one of those playlists, and you can just scroll through and check out every single show or go back to one specific. If there was an interview that you missed, during the football season. We had a lot of great interviews with a lot of ex-players.
Just scroll past myself and DK and just wait till you see Kelvin's mouth moving, and then that's what you want to listen to.
Exactly. All right, hour number 2 of the show. Let's tell you what we've got coming up.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
DK with TL is on tap. We'll check the Pac-12 scoreboard. Darren Sutton is going to join us in this hour. He'll call the game for the Pac-12 network, as well as we'll have your best bets. Still trying to catch J-Dub. He's out there in front. The over-under today, 152.5 on this game. Which way will it go? In the next hour, Eric Malinowski, the play-by-play man for Colgate on ESPN3, will join us. We'll get our opponent's scouting report. All of that is still ahead. And don't forget, Window Depot sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every ball game. It's the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star who had the most impactful boards of the night. We'll tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up tonight on the Meridian Wealth Management post-game show. DK with TL had a chance to get in on the press conference this week. Here are some of the things that I asked the head coach, and we'll start with what impressed him. You heard the block there by Keyshawn Johnson at the end of the Michigan State game, and I asked him kind of what impressed him about the way his team closed that game, holding the Spartans scoreless for the final 3 minutes and 58 seconds.
Tommy, what stood out to you about the way your team finished that game against Michigan?
Well, just a little bit of the poise we had. I mean, when you win a game and you feel like you played pretty well, but then when you go back and watch it, you're like, yeah, we did play well. We had a nice lead, and then, as happens in high-level games, they made a run back at us, and the next thing you know, you're down 3 at kind of a critical juncture of the game, but never really felt like it, and never really felt like we weren't still in control of our own destiny, and the guys made a couple plays, and I thought they were nails down the stretch. So, that's exciting. Now would I rather? I need to go back and figure out, hey, what do we got to do to not let that run happen? If you guys can help me figure that one out, man, we might really have something, because that's hard to do.
People have taken to your comment, we've got dogs and we've got winners. How would you define that?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's something you can define. I think it's more of a feel, and it's a competitiveness. It's cohesiveness. That kind of comes with that, and I mean, I feel really good about these guys as competitors, and I don't think there's any fear. I don't think there's any scared of the moment. I think it's a team that's willing to put it on the line, and if we win, I think we feel great, and if we lose, I think we'll be all right. So I'm excited about it. I mean, I really haven't put much more thought into it than kind of saying it on a whim, but I know it holds true.
Umar's free throw numbers are down. What, if anything, are you asking him to work on in that respect?
I mean, Umar just got to hang with it. He's got to hang with it. He puts work in on his free throws. He's just got to hang with it, and I think we'll get him back on track with that. And it's just kind of one of those things that just doesn't come as easy for him maybe as it does other players. But you also got to understand you got to tap into those strengths, and one of his strengths is he gets fouled a lot. He gets fouled a lot. Other teams' bigs are in foul trouble. And it's always a good thing when the other team's bigs are in foul trouble. And so I really value that. So, for me, I'm okay with how Umar shoots free throws. I don't really stress out about it.
Here's one of the things I noticed about the second half of that game against Michigan State. I thought that one of the things that allowed the Spartans to get back in that game was they beat the Wildcats on a lot of straight line drives. And once they got past whoever was guarding them out front and they got to Ballo, I thought his defensive form was good. He was walled up, hands up, but they still scored over him. Whereas on that last play, the play we played at the top where Key shot a little bit more aggressive to try to get a block in those situations. Should Umar be more like that and try to maybe take a few more chances and get a few more blocks so that guys aren't just scoring over him at the rim?
I think he needs to just be smart about it. I think guys having to go up over the top of him, that's a tough shot. I mean, sometimes guys make that shot, but that's a tough shot. Most coaches don't even like the floater. Trust me. You have some little crafty guards that can make that shot, but most of all, you want the guy coming over doing the right fundamental thing. Shot blocks, they're a good intimidator, but you really think about the bigger scope of the game. Do they really change the game? I mean, what's the best shot blocker, J-Dub? Like 3 a game, maybe?
Yeah.
So it's not, the intimidation is more what the factor is about. Keyshot is a quicker jumper, so I think guys underestimate him. Just the same as KJ Lewis, I think you underestimate how quick they get off the floor, so they'll get a few more blocks on you. But with Ballo, with big guys, I'd rather them wall up and fundamentally do the right thing, so they don't end up getting a lot of fouls from blocking. Because notice when he do a lot of block shots, his body end up hitting the guy, and he gets fouled.
How hard is it to teach that, Kelvin? Because it seems to me, in all my years of watching basketball, there's guys who just have that instinct, especially coming off ball, to challenge shots. And then other guys, they just like to stay straight up. Ballo versus Koloko, for instance. Koloko was very active, especially off ball, looking to block shots, looking to affect shots, looking to intimidate shooters. Ballo doesn't seem like that's a huge part of his game. And now how do you instill that, Kelvin, as a coach, into a big to maybe be a little bit more intimidating, getting your hands up there and going up and challenging, not just the straight up, obviously, set of foul trouble, but going after shots?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Again, I mean, I just feel like that is some that you have in you that you're able to get off the floor quick enough, and he'll block it if it's there. If it's there to be blocked, somebody put it on the Statue of Liberty, as I always say, they put it right there for you. He'll go get that. He's an athletic guy, but the quick off the floor, those usually are the guys that are more. That's what Koloko was, real quick off the floor, multiple jumps. He'll beat you on that second and third jump. Off the floor, those type of the guys are more shot block. So, no, you got to use what you have, right? You have to use what you have. So if you're not a shot blocker, then get those hands up and be big.
Yeah. And when you look at Ballo, he has been dealing with some injuries. We understand, a lower extremity injury. He had some injuries last year with the concussion, was in the hospital, had the hand. And Tommy talked this week about Umar and his health situation so far this season.
He seems pretty healthy. I mean, he's had a few things here and there, but like this normal Nixon bruises, nothing worth anything. I mean, he's fine, and he's going to play fine, and he's going to have a great year for us. And he really helps us in a lot of these games. So I'm all in on Big O.
I guess I think a lot of people maybe thought that he would be a more dominant player this year, but he hasn't necessarily had to be that because you've got that veteran presence around him. Is that good, you think, that maybe he's not had to necessarily be so much at the forefront for this team offensively?
I think yes and no. I say yes because you just want to win, man.
Yeah.
You just want to win. And if it's working, it's working. Well, I mean, how are you going to complain and ask for more touches and different things when things are going well? Now, if things are not going well, then you say, hey, man, let's try to get the big fella going again. Let's try to get back on the inside. But things are going well, so you're not concerned about it. But then that's the other side of what I was saying. You want to have a go-to player. You want to have a guy that you could trust on the inside and a guy you can trust on the outside that can create you a bucket. So you still want to have him confident and going and everything. And every time I hear him talk, I feel like he's confident. I feel like that if he's needed to have a huge game and he's able to get the ball in a one-on-one situation, he could have a huge game on the post. So I just think he's just Gonzaga. I think he's Team Lloyd. I think he's a great team player so far.
And also, I think what's getting lost in this conversation is, Ballo was the preseason player of the year in the conference. Ballo has shot, 65% last year when he was healthy, 75%. So he's going to be in Lloyd's offense, which we all know is inside out, trying to establish paint touches, guards getting their feet in the paint, Kelvin, but more importantly, post-ups. How many times has Ballo caught the ball on the post, Kelvin, and been doubled this year? I mean, every single team they've played so far has him really high, if not number one on the scout, because there might be better scorers, obviously Boswell, Caleb Love, those kind of guys. But as far as a guy you got to shut down early and make sure he does not just dunk every single time down the court, Ballo is right up there on the top of the scout. So whatever numbers he's putting out there, it's not in a vacuum, right? He's out there seeing a lot of defensive attention because teams cannot allow a guy that big and that strong to just dominate them inside offensively.
And what do you like, Kelvin, just about the way he's able to, we've seen that the play a couple times this year where he's kind of able to wall off down low and get that lob pass to be able to get some of his offense.
Yeah, we call that a seal. And I mean, he's just a big, strong guy with a strong lower base and coached up well. And the guys, it's just depending on how they're guarding you. If they playing behind you, you want to sit on them. And if they're playing in front of you, you want to basically what we call push them up the line. And that gives you room for that lob over the top. And the passing is even more important because you got to have guys looking for you and put the ball in the right spot. And either they make perfect bounce passes or they throw the ball where he can high point the ball. That means catches at his highest peak where he can turn around and finish. So I just think overall, just all the little nuances in there of how to get the ball to the guys in the post position and him finding the angles to get open, you can just see it with this team, the effort that they're making to do it.
I think you're just going to see a more and more aggressive Oumar Ballo as the season goes on. I'll tell you a very simple reason why. Because Mo Krivas is going to get more and more comfortable out there on the court. He got pulled from that last game against the Spartans because the coaching staff didn't like some stuff he was doing out there. He didn't get as many minutes as he had gotten in previous games. But when Mo Krivas gets really comfortable, we've already heard, what Ballo has to say about that young man and what he's capable of. He already trusts him. But when everybody else guess what, Kelvin? Oumar Ballo can be as aggressive defensively and offensively as he wants to because the guy coming up off the bench isn't a huge, obviously freshman versus senior there, but he's a very capable young man coming in, especially defensively. So I think Ballo's going to be more and more aggressive as Krivas gets more and more comfortable.
And I'll add to that, I think that small unit with KJ in there at the power forward, Larson, and then Keyshawn at the 5, that also helps knowing that you got those guys in there. But also the development of the Keyshaws, and because now you're going to get that one-on-one on the post. You're not able to double off Keyshawn in the corner because he's knocking down the 3. It's going to make it a lot more tough and get him in a position where he can get more aggressive because he's going to get one-on-ones. Who do you play off of on this team? Do you leave Boswell?
No.
You for sure ain't leaving Love.
Right.
You know what I mean? So right there, Larson, I wouldn't play with that right there because, he picks his spots, but if you leave him open, I think he could kill you as well. So I think as the season go along and these guys continue to be dominant like they are, Ballo is going to get even better because he's going to get a lot more one-on-one opportunities.
And that's one thing real quick he should maybe think to work on. Koloko, towards the very end of his career, his last year there, was really adept at getting doubled and kicking it out to shooters. Koloko is very, very good at that. You just mentioned Pella and Keyshawn in particular as far as spot-up shooters in these last few games. Those are knockdown spot-up shooters. So Ballo recognizing the double coming early and where it's coming from and making sure to find those shooters. The guy, especially catch-and-shoot guys, Kelvin, that's going to make all the doubles go away. As soon as Ballo can read that double come in, feel it come in, and find the right man in that moment, that's the next step to Ballo's development, is really recognizing where the defense is coming from.
All right, Darren Sutton will call the game today for the Pac-12 Network. He will join us next. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show, along with Kelvin Ifan, the captain, 1998, and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Nova Home Loans, Recon Auto Detail, Ride Now Power Sports Tucson, Tucson Police Department.
Frog and Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog and Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog and Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
We return now to the holiday shopping adventures of Eugene Snarkle and his best friend Doug.
Eugene, it looks like we waited a bit too long to get our shopping done. These shelves are pretty empty.
Yeah, Doug, looks like everything got sucked up into that great big cyber savings vortex. But I've got another great idea.
We interrupt Eugene's great ideas for this commercial message.
Trying to get on the road but need some maintenance or repairs to get your car, truck, SUV, or sleigh road trip ready?
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care has some fantastic year-end savings, like $50 back on any $250 purchase. When you pay with your Jack Furrier card, you save big.
Whether it's tires, maintenance, or auto repair, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care has you covered. We can get your vehicle road trip ready and save you some big bucks.
So, Eugene, what was that great idea of yours anyway?
I was thinking about getting everybody a giant-sized bag of Cheezos.
Thanks, Eugene. And for everyone else, there's Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
It's the holiday gift grab, and you could win a share of over $90,000 in prizes at Desert Diamond Casino Sahuarita. Fridays in November and December, there are 4 winners every hour.
That's true, Tucson.
Choose or exchange your gift to win up to $750 free play or over $2,500 cash. It's holiday gift grab, only at Desert Diamond Sahuarita.
True.
An enterprise of the Donna Ogden Nation.
See Rewards Center for details.
Progressive protects more than just your home and car. You could save when you bundle your motorcycles, ATVs, boats, and RVs. Doesn't that sound good? Like the sound of the wind in the trees as your RV sits parked in the forest. Is that the call of the majestic owl? And there's the sound of a tree branch crashing into the roof of your RV. Oof, I guess their nest was in that branch. But you know what does sound good? You're covered with Progressive. So bundle all your vehicles and home in one place and save with the multi-policy discount. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener. Here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290. It's time now to take you down the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
All right, on the baseline at McKale Center, the man that will call the game today for the Pac-12 Network, Darren Sutton, joins us. Darren, is this your first opportunity to see the Wildcats this season, or have you had a chance in person to call a game this year?
No, it's my first time calling them on television. I was one of the multiple millions on Thanksgiving Day that watched them on Fox, certainly. But, yeah, I usually end up with about 6 Cats games a year on the network, and this is my first. I'm excited to be back down.
5.18 million, as a matter of fact, watched that game on Thanksgiving. A new record for Fox, largest viewed college basketball game in 15 years overall. What stood out to you about what you saw from Arizona on Thanksgiving Day?
I think more than anything, it was just the selflessness. I mean, this is a team full of stars, global stars that have played in large events representing their country, stars that have transferred as key players from other schools, whether it be in the ACC or in the Mountain West, in the case of San Diego State, programs that are playing deep into the postseason. And it just speaks to Tommy and his ability to get buy-in. I know the trip they took globally was a big win over to Abu Dhabi and to Israel. I know it was important for them. But it's a gift, and I know he downplays it, but to get that many talented players on the same page, it's not truly positionless basketball, but it's versatile basketball. So that stood out for me in that game, and I think it'll stand out for the rest of the season.
Well, and you talk about talented players on one page, Darren, and the fact that you could get two guys out of the transfer portal who have played in national championship games. That just does not happen all the time, but it's kind of the reality of where we are right now in college athletics. How do you think that's going to change the way that coaches build teams moving forward, where you might be able to get some veteran guys like this? I mean, we're used to getting veteran guys out of the transfer portal, grad transfers and stuff, but not always to the level of a Caleb Love and a Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, I think it changes, every elite coach's approach, but I think what seems to separate Tommy a little bit, and he's not the only one that's different, is he's not going to always take the top guy and replace a current player. In other words, if there's a better option in the portal next year, I don't think a player that's a major contributor loses his opportunity. I think he filled it with what he needed. You return, if you're going to talk about Barlow and you're going to talk about Larson, those are better actually sixth men than they are starters, yet those are the only true quote-unquote starters that return. So he had needs, and he used it wisely. But I do think he is not the type of coach that will constantly be replacing. So I think for a guy like Tommy, it's a benefit. NIL support in this community is great. It's kind of below the surface as it should be, and that makes it appealing. But I think a guy like Tommy, watched Gonzaga do what they do, and they did so globally. I think he's one of the unique recruiters because he does recruit all over the planet, especially in Eastern Europe. But I think for him, it's a benefit.
We're joined by Pac-12 Network's Darren Sutton with your view from courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser celebrating 25 years of serving Arizona. Darren, as you kind of started looking at this game between Arizona and Colgate, and you're kind of figuring out what your storylines are, what did you kind of write down? What were maybe the top three things about this game that you felt that you feel are going to be important to get out there to the viewing public today?
I mean, we kind of touched on it, you and I, earlier. It's the depth. It's, having the 5 and 6 guys that all score in double digits. How do they play today? They have a grueling schedule going forward beyond this, obviously, and it starts with Wisconsin, which will be a wonderful opportunity to play some Big Ten basketball, and it pushes forward with Purdue. They're going to move into the number 1 spot in the land, Arizona. That's not anything Tommy will talk about, but that's a theme, too, with Purdue losing last night. So those are a couple things. And then when you play a team like Colgate, I mean, Tommy, I was at the walkthrough this morning. He implored them, I need the same energy as if you're playing Purdue, as if you're playing, Duke or Michigan State. And if that occurs, I think it also provides an opportunity for more minutes for Krivas, for more minutes for KJ Lewis. The younger players to get out there and to grow and to learn. So those are some of the themes I'm looking at. I'm kind of excited to see Krivas play, understanding how important he is, and see the impact of some of the freshmen. Moroskus is another one. So if you get that 15, 20, 25-point lead, to see some of the freshmen play more meaningful minutes and see how deep your team actually go 9 and 10 deep, because it's already 7 and 8 deep easily. So I'm excited. Those are some of the themes I'm looking forward to.
Hey, Darren, when you go to shoot around, obviously before a game, what are the things you're looking for as a broadcaster? Are there certain things that you go into a shoot around that you want to see to kind of help you get ready for game day?
I think you're just listening more than anything. I love being, because I'm a baseball guy by trade. Played minor league baseball, announced all levels of baseball, even into the big leagues for 15 years. And I love being a learner. I didn't play college basketball. I didn't play at that level. I love listening to coaches. Key words that they will share with their players at different points in the game. What's your action words, basically to steal the Omaha for Peyton Manning when he's at the line of scrimmage. What are his key words that he'll share with the team? I love if they allow you to be close enough to the meeting with the players only, then the coach stepping in and listening to what Tommy has to say. Today it was kind of fun because as a parent of 4, and they're all this age and older, it wasn't a traditional shoot-around where they were in team gear. They all looked like they came out from a sleepover. They had Christmas pajamas on and hooded sweatshirts and Crocs, and it was a true walkthrough. There was no running going on. So I love watching that kind of stuff. You could just see the chemistry and culture. When they traveled the globe and went over to Israel, when they switched hotels and switched different cities and countries, they never had the same roommate. They always switched roommates, and I think that's so intentional and so smart. And you could see it even this morning. Guys still wiping the sleep out of their eyes for the 8:30 warm-up. So yeah, those are as much as asking. And I got a few minutes with Tommy. I just love listening because it's all like constant learning for me. I will never know it all in the sport of basketball, so it's a constant learning situation.
Darren Sutton joining us, Pac-12 Network. Your view from courtside brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser celebrating 25 years here in Arizona. What do you see in Colgate, Darren?
They're a good team. I mean, Tommy reminded that we got beat by a 15 last year. They were a 14. They're a deep team. They're a veteran team. They have talented players. But when you're playing as they are with that kind of talent, it's an opportunity to hang with the team. They went to Syracuse and lost by 4. You have to understand that. They lost to Harvard and that team there. So for me, it's exciting to see. Another part of it that's kind of fun is TJ Carlissimo's son, who's a longtime broadcast partner in the network. TJ is going to be here in town, but they present fun challenges. Braden Smith averages about 16, and he shoots it a ton, shoots about 50%. They go to the line quite a bit. They're a good defending team. They do have size. Keegan Records is a player that's been there the entire time. And you're going to get studied athletes. You're going to get, Colgate is not for the faint of heart academically, and they're not bending rules to allow players to come join. So, again, it's a mid-major that's going to play hard. There's at no point should it be a game per se. It shouldn't be, where you're scared down the stretch. And that's what's interesting about Arizona this year. They've had the massive wins, which everyone is absolutely talking about with Michigan State. But then everyone else, they've handled like they should. And so for me, for Colgate, for Matt Langle's team, good team. They win about 60% of the time over the last half decade. But I think for me, it's just an opportunity for Arizona to play a smart team. It's a good scout team, if you will. And that's, for me, that's what I'm looking for.
Darren Sutton joining us. Darren, you mentioned that you were a baseball guy. I am a former baseball guy as well. I'm going to take you back. I'm going to tell my Darren Sutton story. I don't think I've ever told it to you because this may have only been the second time we've ever spoken. But I'm going to take you back to Birmingham, Alabama in 1995 when I was a play-by-play man in the Southern League with a team called the Port City Roosters. And we came into Hoover Met to play a series against the Barons. And you walked into my booth and introduced yourself and said you were Darren Sutton. And I kind of said, Sutton, that sounds familiar. I just came from Los Angeles. Any relation to Don Sutton? And you said, yeah, I'm his son. And I remember you sat there and you kind of sat in and listened to me do my entire game. And I was like, wow, this guy just kind of like is here. And then you went on to do great things. I don't know if you remember that encounter, but that was the first time that you and I ever met was at Hoover Met Stadium back in 1995 in the Southern League.
Vividly. I vividly remember the interaction because – the year before, I interacted a lot with Kurt Bloom there at his home ballpark. I remember interacting with you. I was I don't know how I described basketball workout this morning. I was constantly learning, and to be around people that were good, like you, what they do, Kurt Bloom, who still is the voice of the Barons down there, who I talk to regularly. What a wonderful memory. Thanks for taking me back. Of course I remember that. I find myself at the Met twice a year with my day job with Perfect Game, so I'm back in those neck of the woods a lot.
Absolutely. Kurt Bloom, one of the great broadcasters in professional baseball, for sure. Hey, Darren, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Have a great call today. We look forward to hearing you on Arizona Wildcats basketball throughout the season.
It'll be a good show, my friend. The great Don McClain is with me, so it'll be a good show. Thanks for giving me a chance to join you.
Always good to have Don McClain down here as well. I know the fans maybe don't like him too much, but he's a tremendous.
They'll be okay. They'll be okay.
He is a tremendous analyst for sure. Darren Sutton is our guest. He is calling the game today for the Pac-12 Network.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
All right, that'll be a 1 o'clock tip-off on the Pac-12 Network today. We've got still about another hour and a half with you here as we take you right up to the network coverage with Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen, which will begin at noon. It is an exciting day of college basketball here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Not only will we have the men's game coming up at 1, we will also have the women's basketball game today here on Wildcats Radio 1290. The ladies are on the road. They're up in Las Vegas. They'll take on the UNLV Running Rebels, and that game will get underway. Our coverage will start at 5:45 immediately following the Meridian Wealth Management post-game show, and then Derek Palmer will have the call at 6 o'clock from the Thomas and Mack Center today, so UNLV and Arizona.
Anybody listening now whose intention is to call in for the post game, make sure you call in early because we're going to be a little tight on time.
Yeah, we'll be flying through it today to get you ready for Arizona women's basketball against UNLV. All right, we'll get another break in here. When we come back, we will have much more for you. In fact, we will let you hear a little bit from the head coach of the women's basketball team, Adia Barnes, coming up in our next segment, as they've had even longer layoff than the men's team. They have not played since Monday, November the 20th. So it's been almost a full 2 weeks for them.
And UNLV has Alyssa Brown from Saguaro.
That's right. Alyssa Brown from Saguaro is involved, and the head coach, obviously, of the Running Rebels also is a South Point Catholic graduate. So several local connections there with that game today in Las Vegas. With Kelvin Ifan, who you just heard there, J.W. Madden, who you can see in the bottom of your screen if you're watching us on Twitch, YouTube Live, or Facebook. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management postgame show is brought to you by Advanced Auto Care, Crest Insurance Group, Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Frog & Firkin, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, The Window Depot, Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Broadway in Tucson presents the Rockin' 2023-2024 season featuring 8 blockbuster productions including Disney's Aladdin, The Book of Mormon, Hairspray, and Chicago. Enjoy the Southern Arizona musical premieres of Tina, the Tina Turner Musical, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Time of the Temptations, MJ the Musical, and Mrs. Doubtfire. Secure your choice season tickets today and get the ultimate in flexibility and the lowest prices all season. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your season tickets today.
The new Blue Whale Car Wash, formerly Octopus Car Wash, is now open. They're locally owned and operated and offer many ways for you to save. Start now by downloading the Blue Whale Car Wash app. Then visit their website at bluewhalecarwashaz.com to find a location near you. Don't forget to follow them on Instagram and Facebook for even more saving. And for a limited time, their exterior-only wash is $5 at all 4 locations. From the family at Blue Whale Car Wash to your family, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 30 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees, bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including 5 in Tucson and Southern Arizona, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 1,800 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after any accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. And coming soon is Del Webb at Rockin' K, a 55-plus active adult community offering a rec center, world-class amenities that promote health and wellness, and new homes with refined interiors and stunning outdoor spaces. Live RockinK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Hey, did you guys know? Did you guys know the average person eats 9 spiders whenever I cook for them?
From his multiple Netflix comedy specials, Anthony Jeselnik brings his new stand-up tour, Bones and All, to Diamond Center Desert Diamond Casino, Sahuarita. Don't miss Anthony Jeselnik live on Saturday, February 3rd at 8 p.m. Purchase tickets at the Reward Center or at etix.com or anthonyjeselnik.com.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Did you spend money on your AC this summer? My friends at Rightway will give you back up to $3,000 for those repairs.
That's right. No matter who did the repair, we'll buy it back for up to $3,000 towards the purchase of a new heating and air system.
No repair bills this year? No worries. We will give you up to $2,000 trade-in plus 0% interest up to 60 months. Manufacturer rebates plus 10-year parts and labor warranty on a new heating and air system.
Have an aging heating and air system? Out of warranty? We'll inspect it absolutely free. Call Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing today.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, Arizona women's basketball, we mentioned, is also on tap for today. The Wildcats are up in Las Vegas. They currently lead the Pac-12 in steals per game heading into their contest today. 6-1 on the year. They are averaging 13 steals.
That's what they do.
Per ball game. Yes, they take the ball away, and they'll take on the UNLV Rebels. And let's hear from the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats, Adia Barnes, this week on their return to the floor for the first time since November the 20th, as the Wildcats again will face the UNLV Running Rebels.
Quick opening statement. Just another week. It's been a long break for us. So excited to be playing again. I think there's good and bad things about like a long period of time off. The good thing is I thought we did pretty well in the Bahamas. We definitely grew and got better. But then to be able to come back, get a little bit healthy again, which was good for us, and then just kind of get back to some basics, I think you'll see an improvement this week. So.
You've got Courtney in the Bahamas. Yeah. What have you seen from her since she's, over this week? 'Cause I know she has some turnover problems down there.
We all have turnover problems. It's like we're the turnover team right now.
But what have you seen from her?
She's always so tenacious on defense. She plays hard. She's coachable. She's a great teammate. I think, for her, I think there was just a sense of like, hurry up and wait. And that was frustrating because it was totally out of her control. And it was just kind of an unfair situation. But I think it was just like a, monkey off her back, being able to play, just kind of free. And now like working herself into the rotation and stuff like that, because it's different practice versus games. So, continuing to work with her on shooting and good decisions, because she's so fast and so quick. So I think sometimes slowing down a little bit, but she's doing that. She's getting better. And we have to, work a lot of fundamentals. We're young and we are turning the ball over. And a lot of those, they're not live ball turnovers. A lot of them are charges or travels, stuff like that we can control. So that just tells me fundamentally we have to just get a little bit more sound.
Condensed home schedule early, and obviously 3 games and a few days in the Bahamas.
It was it was 6 games in 11 days. So, yeah.
This off period where you're off.
Which I did not. I did the scheduling, and that's not what I wanted. But I could not fill a game because that tournament's right before Thanksgiving. So it's a really tough, and no one's going to play you that next week here. Everybody's in Thanksgiving tournaments. So it was a hard schedule, but I wanted to go to that tournament because I thought the Bahamas was good.
You needed to get healthy, but how do you avoid the rust from this period?
I don't really think rust, and it's funny because we needed to get healthy, but then we had people out with concussions, sick, so it didn't even really benefit that much. We weren't like full days of a ton of practices, but getting healthy, I think taking a mental break because that was a tough stretch for a young team, and we didn't do well, I think, against Ole Miss. It's not about losing or winning. It was like, we struggled against the zone, but we've been able to address that. And that was really important for me because now we're playing so much better against the zone and a lot more confident. So that was important because I knew that if we didn't fix that, it was going to be a long December because we're going to get zoned a lot more. But, I think we're playing a really good team on Saturday in Vegas, and they're aggressive. And it's going to be a good test for us on the road. Then, playing Texas and San Diego, we have a tough little stretch. So I'm curious to see how we're going to bounce back and how we're going to respond after that break. Because I don't know. We're a young team, so I really don't know what to expect all the time.
And what did you said you worked on a lot of the basics and stuff. Yeah. What did you work on? How will you look different? Do you think you'll look different on Saturday?
Yeah, we're going to look different as far as turning the ball over. I think just understanding, you don't always have to have that $1 million pass. There are passes that I think are open that are pretty good, but I think teaching young players, that's a really hard pass. You may make it in practice, you may thread the needle sometimes, but it's better to make the safe fundamental pass, I think. And so if everybody cuts theirs down by 1, we're half of what we have now, we just have never really had so many turnovers. And then the traveling and the lack of jump stopping and charging and stuff like that, those are things that you just have to teach individually for people to jump stop. And that's what we do. So that tells me we needed more reps. And so working on passing every day. And I think as far as zone is teaching what you're trying to accomplish in the zone. A zone is very simple. It's really a kind of stupid defense. It's just you should be able to break a zone, whether you can shoot it or not. I think there's ways you can pick apart zones, and there's a lot of holes. So I think in basketball, great defense is man-to-man defense, and it's very hard to teach. That's why a lot of people don't do it. So I think the understanding, the objective is where you're trying to get the ball. If someone's from the bottom's guarding you, what's open? And I think we just didn't have an understanding of that. So being able to break that down more, and it's not an excuse, but I think some of that came from not having numbers. So we couldn't play a lot of 5-on-5, and we never had practice players until recently. So just getting kind of all that to be able to play consistently against the zone. But, that it is what it is, and just showing film and learning, and that's what you do with a young team. You have to learn and teach, and there's a lot of teaching right now.
Skylar described this freshman group as a group of dogs.
Yeah.
How much have you enjoyed coaching this group as they're younger?
I really have. Skylar, from Chicago, great kid, great addition. And I feel bad for Skylar because she's been in and out with concussion protocol, and it's just random stuff that isn't even a big thing, but it's numbers wise, it'll keep you out for a week or two. So, she was unfortunately out for some of this week, and she was just kind of getting into the groove of things. She played a really good game in Bahamas. And then to, be sitting out a few days, I think that's been hard for her, but she's tough. She wants to be good. She's really hard on herself, and it's a really good group of freshmen. So when you think of Montea, she's working hard. She's ahead of schedule. And then you look at Jada. Jada is tough. She's not afraid of anybody. She's continuing to get healthy and get better. But she leads in so many ways as a freshman. So I love seeing that. I love coaching her. Brea hasn't even scratched her potential. Brea's starting to shoot threes, and she's just like improving. So you're gonna see her just get better and better. And she has so many gifts that you can't teach, like her hands. You can't teach that. She's actually pretty fast at running the floor. We just have to do that consistently. But she's getting in the best shape of her life. This is like the most fit she's been. So she's getting better. Then she's going against Maya. She's going against Isis and Ismeri every day. So she's improving. And I think she's learning how to push to that next level. And then what freshman am I forgetting? We have Jada, Brea, Montea, Skylar. So those are everybody. And unfortunately, it was a big blow to lose Montea. Montea, like she's even in practice non-contact, and she's so smart. She's so versatile. That was a hard loss for us that a lot of people forget about early. So we started with 12, but then we lost her, and so our numbers have just been rough. Because remember, we went to the one exhibition game with like 6 people. So just, I want us to get healthy. We've had 2 practices with everybody there. And that was on the road for an hour. So I want to get where we're kind of going, because we have 2 really good groups of 5-on-5. So getting us to be able to get to that point, we have never been at that point except for Bahamas when Courtney got cleared for 2 days. And those are 1-hour practices. So we need that to really work, and hopefully we'll get to that soon. This 12 days helps, and hopefully the break will help. We're having a longer break than normal. But I think we need that mentally and physically. So
Brea, the ultimate post player. So how much will you let her get out there and shoot threes?
I'm going to let her because my job is to develop her. But yes, what I love about her is she's one of those posts that doesn't want to be a 3. Most posts want to be a 3, when they're 5, or they want to play this or positionless, this and that. She wants to be a post, and she wants to be a good post. That's what I like, and that's why I think she embraces it, and she's going to be good because of that. But our job is to develop her she has a really nice high post shot. She has a really good face-up shot. So developing her to be able to shoot threes and stuff from the trail makes her better. And developing her to drive it from the 3-point line in the high post. That's what we're supposed to do. So I think you'll see that. She just stands really straight up, which is funny. She posts straight up, and she's straight up a lot. So teaching her to bend, that might take about a year, but she's getting a little lower than before.
How much was it needed for Jada to see some shots go in that last game?
Very much needed, because it's just psychologically as a player, when she's actually a good shooter. I mean, she probably has never had a stretch like this, but she's also never worked like this. I think consistently at college is different. There's so many more demands, so much more stress. It's just different. I think it's a different stress level that they've never experienced. So I think it's one of those things where it becomes mental, because even in some of the games at home, she would hit a shot and she'd be like, oh, finally. But I think now just kind of it enables you to kind of take a deep breath and say it's okay. And, some of that, her Achilles was bothering her. And so she was kind of taking unbalanced shots. But she's getting better, and I think her focusing on just getting the reps in and just taking it game by game, one shot at a time, and having amnesia too. The best shooters have amnesia. If you miss 2 shots, who cares? And I think one thing that has affected her, though, is that she likes to work, and because she was injured before, she wasn't working a lot extra. I think there's value to when you're struggling and you can go in and shoot an extra hour a day. I think that helps a lot. But when you're limited because of injury, you're not getting those reps in, so you don't have the confidence, you're not seeing the ball go in the hoop. I think that's harder, and it takes you a little bit longer to get out of a slump, and I think that was a little bit what she dealt with. But you're going to face adversity. She continues to work. She's strong mentally, so she can handle it. I think you're going to see her much different even as we progress.
The Pac-12 Scoreboard is brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery.
All right, that was the head coach of the Arizona women's basketball team, Adia Barnes. Let's tell you what's happening in the Pac-12 conference today on the men's side. This will be the first game of the day here in Tucson. Colgate and the number 2 Wildcats at 1 o'clock. At 1:30 in Eugene, Oregon, it'll be the Michigan Wolverines against the Oregon Ducks. The Wolverines come in at 4-3. The Ducks are 4-2. Washington State will host Portland State today in Pullman. Portland State at 6-1 are the Vikings, and Washington State 5-1 to start this season. How about 7-0 Colorado State, ranked number 20 in the country? They knocked off their rivals, the Colorado Buffaloes, earlier this week. They are in Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Invitational against Washington. Was it Washington? They've been spending a lot of time in Las Vegas. Obviously, the men's football team was there last night. I believe they were there last week. The Huskies were for a tournament because they knocked off, didn't they beat Sean Miller's team, I do believe? So Colorado State 7-0, Washington 4-2 at the Las Vegas Invitational. That's at the MGM Grand Garden Arena today. Also in Berkeley, California, 2-5 will take on Santa Clara. That'll be an interesting ball game there, as the Broncos are 7-1. Herb Sindak coaching that team up there, the former ASU coach. And the final game of the day will be on ESPN, number 11 Gonzaga. This is also at the Legends of Basketball Las Vegas Invitational. It'll be number 11 Gonzaga at 5-1 against Southern California. The Trojans enter that game at 5-2.
Your memory is correct. T-Mobile Arena, Huskies, and Mountaineers on November 17th.
Yeah. So they've been, how about that? 2 preseason trips to Las Vegas, where the football team won the Pac-12 Conference Championship last night. Outstanding game that was, as the Huskies beat the Oregon Ducks and have pretty much solidified their spot in the college football playoffs. So congratulations to Kalen DeBoer and Michael Penix Jr. and that squad.
One more score of note that fans might be interested in. Next week's opponent, Wisconsin, they're taking on number 3 Marquette right now, and they're up by 2. About 10 minutes gone in the first half there. So Wisconsin at home, number 3 Marquette. That's a good game going on right now for a preview of the Badgers.
And we mentioned earlier in the show that number 1 Purdue lost last night on the road to Northwestern. So in all likelihood, your Arizona Wildcats are going to be the number 1 team in the country come early Mountain Time on Monday. And Kelvin mentioned before we heard from Medea Barnes, Alyssa Brown from Saguaro High School is a member of the team at UNLV, the team the Wildcats will play tonight. Alyssa has started all 7 games so far this season for the Rebels, playing about 25 minutes, scoring at a pace of 6 points, grabbing 7 rebounds, and has 3 assists per ball game. So not bad numbers for Alyssa, shooting 49% from the floor. Not as well from the line, just 57%. But Alyssa having started all 7 games for the Rebels so far this season. UNLV comes into that game against the Wildcats tonight undefeated. They are 7-0 on the season, so that should be a good one. Again, that'll be a 6 o'clock tip-off. Our coverage will begin at 5:45. Last hour of our program is straight ahead. We will hear from Eric Malinowski, the play-by-play man for the Colgate Raiders on ESPN3. We'll get into our keys to the game, starting lineups, best bets. All of that is straight ahead. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show, along with Kelvin Ifan and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's been the Pac-12 Scoreboard, brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery. This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Nova Home Loans, Recon Auto Detail, Ride Now Power Sports Tucson, Tucson Police Department.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
At Standard Restaurant Supply, their vision and number one goal is to improve the lives of their customers and clients by providing a better culinary experience. Standard Restaurant Supply, if it's in a restaurant and not food, they have it. Open to the public, no membership fees, and they offer bulk store pricing without the bulk store purchase. Open Monday through Saturday at 601 South Cherry Avenue or call 885-2345. Standard Restaurant Supply is a proud sponsor of the U of A Radio Sports broadcast.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
What up, Tucson? This is Joseph Blair, former Wildcat and assistant coach of the Washington Wizards. When I came to play basketball at the U of A in the 90s, the Tucson community became and has always remained a special part of my life. And this is why I proudly joined the Meridian Wealth Management Tucson Advisory Business Council. If you have financial questions or concerns, please be sure and call my friends Natalie or Ruben Fernandez at 719-1433 or visit online at Meridian Wealth LLC. And as always, bear down, Tucson.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Don't let heating or plumbing problems spoil your holidays. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. We'd like to wish you a safe and happy holiday season and a very Merry Christmas. When you need us, call 520-440-4069 for honest service to the Tucson area for over 22 years.
Well, it's that time of year. You dress the kids up for the holiday parties, and they hate it. You dress everybody up for the annual holiday card picture, and, well, everybody hates that. You even dress the turkey, and we're pretty sure he's not happy about that. This year, dress up your yard in time for the holidays. Call Dorado Rockin' Materials, and we promise there will be no complaints. Make your yard beautiful and worry-free with their personal service and convenient delivery times. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by Casino del Sol, Soul Sports, Bet Easy, Win Big, Bet Local. Your home for Arizona football play-by-play is Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
How about we start with some defense from that game against Michigan State? We've been talking a lot about KJ Lewis's defense, and he certainly brought it after making a mistake early in that game.
KJ can't get inside. His pass is picked off. Here's Holman the other way. Lay it up, blocked out of bounds by KJ Lewis, climbing the ladder defensively.
How about that, Kelvin? I mean, again, offensive end makes a bad pass, but doesn't put his head down other than to put his head down and sprint back on defense so he can get a block.
Man, he knew when he threw that turnover, when they stole that ball, as soon as that guy caught that ball, he knew he was going to block it. I saw him start measuring the guy up like he was finna go, dunk or something. And next thing you know, he go up and just jumps vertical and catches it at the highest point. I mean, what type of DB would he be in football, man? I mean, we got a couple guys on this team. We talking about Larson, Love, and KJ Lewis, and that could be some heck of Martinez too. That little guy there could be some heck of a football players. But man, the way that he measured that guy and went and got that ball, that's the type of guys you want that don't put their head down when things happen. I always talk about high school kids. Man, I see these high school kids, they turn the ball over and be the last one back on defense. I say, no, when you turn over the ball, you're the first person that get back. You got to show that hustle. And KJ Lewis earned a lot of points with his teammates. They already know him from practice. Trust me.
How about Kylan Boswell in the backfield with you, Kelvin? Would that work?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I didn't even think of that. Oh man, but right now, this is what I say. Right now, we don't really got to worry about the basketball players going to football because man, we got some players over there right now, especially in that backfield. So we safe right now. Well, we don't need Boswell. We don't need to bring the E-Fund over to the team right now. They got some guys.
Well, if you've seen the kid from baseball, Brandon Rogers,
oh my goodness,
the one that's been posting the videos and pumping the iron. I mean, I walked past him at McKale Center the other day. They were coming. I think they were working out on the beach volleyball in the sand, and I was like, man, brother, you've been pumping that iron, man. He looks as impressive in person as he does in those videos. I'm looking forward to seeing him play on the field and seeing what kind of game he has in baseball come springtime because he's big. He's a big fella. He could probably line up on that football field as well.
Yeah. Oh man.
The U of A baseball team has put on as much weight as a freshwater crocodile.
Oh, maybe. Let's hope they can hit and pitch, though.
Let's see how that translates. Yeah.
Exactly. How does that translate to baseball? We're not sure, but we will see come spring. Here's what Tommy Lloyd thought of that play by KJ Lewis.
KJ is and this is only said in a complimentary way, he's an effort-based player. I mean, he plays so hard. That's kind of his skill. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, he maybe made a little bit of a cross-court pass, got intercepted. He didn't put his head down. He went down and, kind of made a great effort play. And, when guys make great effort plays, you can really build on those throughout a game.
Well, and you go back to that's the first thing I remember after the Red-Blue game that he said that KJ Lewis is the kind of kid who can make up for mistakes with effort. And that was a perfect example of that with that play against Michigan State.
Well, there's two kinds of players who hang their head after they miss a shot or after they make a bad pass, Kelvin. And then there's guys who just don't have that moment. They just want to make up for it instantly. And KJ clearly is that dude.
Yeah, no, clearly he's that guy and a winner and a champion because those are the guys that are built like that. They're not going to worry about mistakes. They're going to play through it. He don't care where you put him at on the court. I mean, you can put him against the center. You can put him at power forward. He doesn't care, and that's what type of players that you want, positionalists. You don't want guys that are, well, no, I'm a shooting guard, and I need to prove to the pros I'm a shooting guard. No, coach, I'm willing to get out here and do whatever it takes to make this team better. If it's being a defensive guy, hustle guy, then so be it.
KJ Lewis, a top 100 recruit, coming in here as a freshman through the first 6 games, averaging 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists in just 18 minutes per game, shooting 68% from the floor. So, again, a very efficient scorer from what he's done there as well. 2 for 5. Doesn't take a lot of three-pointers, 2 for 5, but just doing a lot of different things well. Was the guy that really stood out in that Red-Blue showcase with his defense, and we have seen that carry over into the regular season for the freshman out of Duncanville, Texas, by way of El Paso.
You mentioned Kylan Boswell's crazy efficiency. Same with KJ. KJ's not hunting shots. KJ is not looking to get shots up. KJ's just taking shots within the offense. And so the statistics you're looking at there, clearly he can finish around the rim. As far as taking open looks within the offense from 3, I trust that guy to set his feet and knock a shot down. But he's not looking, Kelvin, to get his shots up. He's just taking whatever they give him.
All I have to say is he played with Ron Holland, the #1 player in the nation, a McDonald's player, and he was I think they were 40-1 at Duncanville High School. So That tell you right there what type of guy that you're getting and the type of pedigree.
40-1 in high school in a high school season.
I'm pretty sure they were 40,
Wow.
and they would have won the state championship, but some rules with Anthony Black. Remember, Anthony Black got drafted in the first round from Arkansas?
Yeah.
He went to Duncanville, and something happened where they made them ineligible for the state championship in KJ Lewis's senior year. But they won every game, every major tournament. They traveled the nation playing all the best teams, and, I mean, those guys were terrific. But the biggest thing that I liked was seeing him play alongside of Ron Holland, the number one player in the nation, and watching him adjust his game around whatever was needed for that team to win. I knew right there that he was going to come in here and be great.
All right, let's head over to the casino and find out what this game is looking like on the big board.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, J-Dub is 9-3. I'm 7-5. Kelvin, you missed a few, but you're 2-2. So let's look at the line on this one today. It is the Wildcats minus 21.5. And the Wildcats have pretty much breezed past these lines so far here at home this season. I'm going to anticipate that they will do that once again. So I'm going to take the Wildcats and lay that 21.5.
Yeah, I got to agree with you today. I'm looking at Colgate. They bring the three guys back, but the rest of the guys are young on their roster. Pretty young team. Definitely still capable, but I think right now at this point in the season, I think you looking at the way that the guys are playing with those veterans up there, I just think it's going to be a little too much.
Yeah, Sam. I just think the style of offense they run, they do, Kelvin, like a triangle, high post triangle, trying to get a lot of shots. Like 43% of their shots this year are from deep. So they're trying to get the ball inside and then kick out the shooters. And with this defense Arizona's bringing, too many athletes out there, too many smart defenders to get out at those shooters. I don't see their percentage being super great in McKale today. So, yeah, I think Arizona clears 21, you said?
21.5.
Yeah, I think Arizona wins by not too much more than that, like 25, 28, something like that.
All right, so everybody is laying the 21.5 on the Arizona Wildcats today. You're over under 152.5. And again, this is a number that the Wildcats have flown past in most of their games. Obviously, they did not fly past the over-under in the last game. I think it came in just a little bit under against Michigan State. But in the games at home against these mid-major schools, they have flown past the number. And I'm going to go over again at 152.5. I'm going to go over that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that one. I think Colgate is going to play a little bit better than what people may think. So I think both of those teams combined for sure.
Yeah, I think it's over. I think the only way Colgate maybe wins is taking the air out of the ball, Kelvin, and like shooting a bunch of threes and making them all.
Yeah.
But still, even then, Arizona opportunistic running. I think Arizona will score quite a few points. They're just deeper, especially across the front court. So, yeah, I think over.
All right, well, nobody's gaining any ground against J-Dub then today because we are all laying 21.5 with Arizona and all taking the over on this one at 152.5.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet. Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, as we mentioned, we've got about another 49 minutes with you today, taking you up to network coverage at noon. Arizona and Colgate today at McKale Center. If you're heading to the game on your way down there right now, give us a call, 520-848-1290. We'd love to hear from you, 520-848-1290, on what you think is going to happen today, how you feel about this team. Coming up, we're going to talk and get the scouting report on the Colgate Raiders. Eric Malinowski, the broadcaster for the Colgate Club on ESPN3, will join us. Our Ram Plumbing scouting report. We'll have our keys to the game coming up a little bit later, as well as the starting lineups for your Arizona Wildcats as well. All of that is straight ahead. J-Dub mentioned that the next opponent on the schedule is Wisconsin, and Wisconsin at 5-2 on the season, playing against number 3 Marquette today. That's a backyard rivalry for sure. The Marquette Golden Eagles are ranked number 3 in the country right now, behind the Arizona Wildcats at number 2. They went over. In fact, they were the team that took out number 1 Kansas last week at the Maui Invitational.
And lost to Purdue.
And then lost to Purdue. Yeah, that was one heck of a tournament over there, which was held in Honolulu this year. So that game is happening today in Madison, Wisconsin. They are nearing the end of the first half. The under 4-minute break is coming up, and right now Wisconsin is leading Marquette by a score of 31-23. So that's a nice, again, you love to see these types of games being played on the home courts. Good crowd there at Madison today for that big ball game between those two rivals that are just a few hours apart in Wisconsin. When you talk about, again, getting back to this game today and Colgate, I think that obviously this is going to be an opportunity for us to see some of the guys we have not seen recently. I think Philip Borovichinen, Paulius Morauskas, maybe a little Conrad Martinez, more Jaden Bradley. These are that tend to me, and I'm getting maybe ahead of one of my key, but to me, that's it. My main key today is I want to see some of the reserves get some quality minutes, get back into that game day flow.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I mean, one, just for team morale, the more guys getting playing time, the better the practices are, the better attitude that everybody have. So, of course, you want to get those extra minutes in for those guys, but the starters have to be the guys that take care of business early for that to happen.
Yeah, it's like rotation time, right, Kelvin? Because now that we've seen some of the newer players, especially the freshmen, come in and see what they can do, the coaching staff right now is paring down and figuring out what lineups work best. We talk small lineup. That's all upperclassmen, right? Maybe KJ and Boswell in there, but it's a lot of upperclassmen in that small ball lineup. As far as going deep into that bench, they're really going to try to work the guys in who obviously, outside of garbage time, that they're going to be using regularly within the rotation. It's that time of year.
All right, we will talk to the play-by-play man for Colgate, Eric Malinowski. That'll be straight ahead in our scouting report segment. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. Arizona and Colgate today at McKale Center with tip-off at 1 o'clock with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, First Choice Pools, The Good Feet Store, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Ram Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community Design by Nature, University Termite and Pest Control.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
Back to the holiday shopping adventures of Eugene Snarkle and his best friend Doug.
Hey, Eugene, we waited a little too long to get our shopping done. The shelves are looking pretty empty.
I was thinking of getting everyone a giant-sized bag of Cheezos.
We interrupt Eugene's great idea for this message.
Does your car, truck, SUV, or sleigh need a little maintenance to get road trip ready for the holidays? Check out jackfurriers.com for savings up to 50% off. Get your vehicle holiday road trip ready at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, here to get you there.
Saguaro Harley-Davidson is a pre-owned inventory destination with hundreds of pre-owned Harley-Davidson motorcycles to choose from. Save $2,000, $4,000, or even $6,000 at Saguaro Harley's pre-owned clearance sale. Now through the end of the month, Saguaro is accepting 100% of all credit applications with low financing options available. Take a test ride and receive a free dealer tee. Only at Saguaro Harley-Davidson or online at saguaroharley.com. Some restrictions may apply. OAC, see dealer for details.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Don't let heating or plumbing problems spoil your holidays. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. We'd like to wish you a safe and happy holiday season and a very Merry Christmas. When you need us, call 520-440-4069 for honest service to the Tucson area for over 22 years.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290. Our 1290 Scouting Report is brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Let's take a closer look at today's opponent. Colgate, one of the, if not the best teams in the Patriot League, are the Raiders. They are the three-time defending champions, and we're joined by the play-by-play man for the Colgate Raiders, Eric Malinowski. And Eric, what has allowed Colgate to kind of have a stranglehold on the Patriot League over the last few years?
Recruiting, I think, is the number one component where Matt Langle and his staff have been able to restock instead of having to rebuild. And there has been some defections throughout the Patriot League due to the emergence of the transfer portal, something in the Patriot League we really never saw before COVID. So some of the teams are getting a little weaker. Boston University was the last team to beat Colgate in the Patriot League tournament, and that was actually the year that the NCAA tournament was canceled. And then since that point forward, Colgate has had a stranglehold on the Patriot League, like you said.
So what do you think, just to kind of go back to what you were saying about the transfer portal, are these young men that are being afforded other opportunities at higher levels? What do you think's kind of led to more guys transferring out of this? Are they going higher? Are they going lower? Where are they going?
Yeah, most of them are going higher. I don't have the name right at the top of my head, but one of the Bucknell Bison men's basketball players went to Ohio State, and there was another transfer that went to Rutgers that had a good career there. So all of a sudden, these talented players from the Patriot League are going elsewhere. Colgate had Nelly Cummings go to Pittsburgh, but he was in his grad year where I don't think he had any options left at Colgate anyways in terms of his grad year options. So that's why he went elsewhere. But other than that, Colgate has been able to maintain their talent. Keegan Records, the very talented center, the preseason player and defensive player of the year in the Patriot League. He had other options, and at one point, I think the consensus was that he was not coming back to Colgate, and then he decided to come back to Colgate. So that was a major recruiting coup, even though he was already on the team. To land him back in Hamilton, New York was big.
Keegan Records, you mentioned there, fifth-year senior, 6'10", 250-pound forward, averaging 10 points and 9 rebounds per ball game. What can Wildcat fans expect from him today?
He is a very high-efficient, fundamentally sound player, not too flashy, but definitely gets the job done. I affectionately call him the mayor of South Kingstown. He's from South Kingstown, Rhode Island. The one question mark to kind of delve into, the one thing that Colgate's been struggling a little bit in the early portion of the season is these are more new players that Matt Lango has ever had since Colgate's had this historic run as far as the Patriot League is concerned. There's a lot of new faces. Kyle Carlesimo, the son of P.J. Carlesimo, is a transfer from Eastern Illinois. So Colgate has always had guard depth during this run. The Tucker Richardsons, Oliver Lynch-Daniels, Denelli Cummings, Jordan Burns. And now it's a more post-heavy team than a guard-oriented team. So Colgate really trying to figure that out. Keegan Records and Jeff Woodward, they were the 1-2 punch. Keegan would go out, Jeff Woodward would come in. And now they're both on the floor together. And that's been a work in progress. If you look at the field goal percentage, Keegan set a Patriot League record last year. It was upper 60s. I don't have the exact number on the top of my head, but he set a Patriot League record for highest field goal percentage ever in a season. And now he's right around 50%. Jeff Woodward is shooting under 40%. They're still trying to find that chemistry on the floor together, and that has certainly been a struggle in the early portion of the season.
Eric Malinowski is joining us. He is the play-by-play man for the Colgate Raiders. He is our scouting report today. And when you look at the Patriot League real quick here, Eric, is it similar to the Ivy League? And do you guys have scholarships or no?
Yes. Yeah, we have scholarships, and Ivy League is one of our main competitors. It's not quite as stringent as getting into the Ivy League, but every single Patriot League school has rigorous academic requirements, and it's not easy to get into. But the Ivy League, of course, has the tradition and is a step above when a Colgate or some other school is recruiting against a Harvard. It's obviously difficult because a young man is going to go to Harvard. But, yes, it is similar to the Ivy League.
Yeah, you mentioned Keegan Records, 68% last year from the field. Along with he and Ryan Moffitt, those two are fifth-year seniors. Obviously, there's 4 consecutive streaks to the NCAA tournament. I understand, I was watching some highlights and reading some stories that they run a lot of a high-post triangle. And obviously with Keegan Records being able to do that in the middle, so many outside shots for the Colgate Raiders this year. Now, that high-post triangle, are they really looking to get the ball inside the paint and then always look for the outside shot? Within that offense, is it really geared towards looking to find those open shooters?
Yeah, it really is. And Coach Lango, when you ask him a question like that, he'll always say, we take what the defense gives us. He has that kind of poker face coaching answer but yes, they're definitely looking for shooters. Ryan Moffitt is shooting more threes than he ever has. He's hardly shooting any 2-point baskets. That's a little different, and that's probably a byproduct of the fact that Woodward and Records are in the game at the same time, so Moffitt has less of a low-post presence, and he can shoot the three, very efficient from Tripletown, so he continues to do that well. But, yeah, they're always looking for the open shooter, and just to compound that, there's 2 components this year. Braden Smith, he's elevated his game. He was highly touted coming out of Seattle Prep last year. He had a great freshman campaign. He's building on that, 15 points per game, and he's rebounding the basketball around 6 rebounds per game. And then Nicholas Louis-Jacques, a kid from Miami, Florida, because of the guard depth the last couple of years, minutes were hard to come by, and when he was in there, he'd take a shot, miss it, maybe get a little frustrated, maybe wasn't that efficient on the defensive end, so Coach Langle would take him out pretty quickly. But this year, Nicholas Louis-Jacques, the reigning Patriot League Player of the Week, he has had an outstanding start to his season.
Now, Eric, we watched some of the highlights from the Syracuse game earlier in the season. Colgate got up to a big lead, 24 points. The Orange came back and won that game. Now, you're a Syracuse graduate, correct?
I am, yes. Way back in the day.
Here's my question.
Long time ago.
Here's my question. So I understand that Colgate had a long, 50-plus game losing streak to the Orange that was just broken a few years back. Now, what did that feel like as an Orange graduate to watch the Colgate Raiders defeat the in-state rivals Syracuse Orange? They played, 140 games over the lifetime of that series. But what was that like to see that 50-plus game losing streak come to an end to your alma mater?
Yeah, when I was in my 20s, I wouldn't have been okay with it. But since I'm employed by Colgate, I'm more than okay with it. And it's just something where, honestly, because basketball was obviously much different back in the 50s when Colgate beat Syracuse for the last time. So the fact that Colgate was able to do that not only 2 times in a row, but let's be honest, they had a 24-point lead in the second half. It should have been a third time in a row, and I know they are still a little bit sore on that, as they feel they should have won 3 times in a row against Syracuse. But, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm definitely okay with Colgate having the upper hand against Syracuse, since I called many games where Syracuse absolutely thumped Colgate.
We're joined by Eric Malinowski. He is the play-by-play man for the Colgate Raiders on ESPN3. You mentioned Nicholas Louis-Jacques, the reigning Patriot League Player of the Week. What's this young man's game like? Knocked down 5 trays in the game against Harvard, which you guys lost. Is he a three-point shooter? Is he pretty confident from behind the arc?
Yeah, I think he's still coming into his own. He's definitely a three-point shooter, but he's very energetic, athletic, and he can drive to the basket as well. But I think he's having the best success beyond the arc. And defense has been a little bit of a concern for him, but he's getting much better as far as that's concerned. So he's definitely not strictly a three-point shooter, but since this is by far his best year so far in a Colgate uniform, I think since he's having the most success beyond the arc, why not keep shooting there? But he can do other things, and I think as his game continues to progress, you'll see that.
Obviously, you guys are the favorite in the Patriot League once again. Who's knocking on the door behind you guys?
You never really know until you get into conference play, and as I mentioned, so many defections. So every time we start the Patriot League season, me and my partner, Jeff Bishop, were always say, well, where'd this guy go? Where'd this guy? And there were quite a few coaching changes as well. So it's kind of wide open right now, and Colgate does play a very, very aggressive non-conference schedule. While not to pick on other Patriot League teams, but the Stonehill Colleges and the Lemoynes of the world sometimes fill their schedules non-conference slate. So it's really hard to say who's going to be the cream of the crop once it comes to Patriot League play. Boston University has been very good. Lafayette is the team that Colgate beat in the Patriot League final last year, and they kind of came out of nowhere. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this year. And they had Mike McGarvey, who was a Colgate assistant a couple years back. Great guy, did wonders on the Colgate coaching staff, and now he is the head coach at Lafayette. So kind of selfishly, I would like to see that rivalry blossom between Colgate and Lafayette. 2 great guys, Matt Langle and Mike McGarvey. I think that would be a great rivalry for years to come.
Now, Eric, you mentioned Keegan Records and Jeff Woodward on the interior, both 6'10 plus, about 250, 270 for Jeff Woodward. Outside of that, there isn't a lot of size. On the defensive side, we talked about the offense, high post triangle, looking for the open shooters. What should Arizona fans expect from the game today from the defensive side of things, coming up against an Arizona team with a lot of size and a lot of length? Is that going to be a straight man most of the game? Or do they try to blend that into a zone? Or what do they do against a bigger team like the Arizona Wildcats today?
Yeah, they'll do a variety of things. I think you would see a lot of matchup zone. That would be my guess of what they'll try to do against Arizona, and also a lot of praying, I would think, too, to take on the number 2 team in the country in the Arizona Wildcats. Obviously, a school from the Patriot League isn't going to have the same measurements, the same athleticism that a team like Arizona does. So Colgate's going to need Arizona to miss a lot of open shots probably. But, yeah, they are fundamentally sound. Coach Langle, is a Penn disciple. He learned under Fran Dunphy. He was at Temple. He was a player at Penn, but he was a longtime assistant at Temple under Fran Dunphy. So a lot of those Fran Dunphy principles you see in Matt Langle's coaching style as well.
And when you talk about that schedule, we mentioned Syracuse, obviously Arizona today, Illinois also on that schedule, as well as Iona. So definitely some solid scheduling there for Coach Langle and this Colgate Raiders ball club. Hey, we appreciate you, Eric, taking a few minutes to join us pregame and get us up to date on what's happening with Colgate. Best of luck the rest of the season.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, guys, and best of luck to you.
That's today's 1290 Scouting Report, brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
And our thanks to Eric Malinowski for joining us, getting us set for today's ball game. He mentioned Stonehill College. You guys have any idea where that is?
Virginia. That would be my guess.
North Carolina and Virginia are both incorrect. Stonehill College is in Easton, Massachusetts. It is a Division I school. It's in the NEC, and some of their famous alumni. Let's find out on the sports side. They've got a guy that you might recognize the name, but you probably didn't know he went there. Ed Cooley.
Ed Cooley. Oh.
The head basketball coach for the Georgetown Hoyas is a Stonehill College grad. How about Lou Gorman? He was the general manager of the Boston Red Sox in the 1980s. Oh, gosh. Is my camera going crazy again? It just gets up and follows me wherever I go.
That's a remote on it.
Yeah, but there's some pretty popular people out of Stonehill College in Easton, Massachusetts. All right, it is the Wildcats and the Colgate Raiders today at McKale Center, 1 o'clock. When we come back, we are going to give you our keys to the game, starting lineups, last segment of the show, last chance for you to get involved in this show. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number. Kelvin Efon is here. JW Madden is here. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Jingle all the way to Desert Diamond Casino. There are next-level thrills, a whole lot of winning, and so much more in store this month.
Let's hear it.
First up, it's $1 Million Pro Football Frenzy and 10K Saturday. Then there's Holiday Gift Grab and the Road to Riches finale.
Wow!
And be sure to check out fantastic live entertainment at the Diamond Center with Gary Allen, clairvoyance, and more.
Rock on!
Then on New Year's Eve, it's New Year's Eve Hot Seats Frenzy at Sahuarita and Tucson. And you can win your share of $25,000 at Tucson with New Year's Eve Cash Train.
That's true, Tucson.
All this plus your favorite slots and table games, Arizona's finest sportsbook, and delicious food and drink specials.
It's all here at Desert Diamond Casinos.
True.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
See Rewards Center for details.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Did you spend money on your AC this summer? My friends at Rightway will give you back up to $3,000 for those repairs.
That's right. No matter who did the repair, we'll buy it back for up to $3,000 towards the purchase of a new heating and air system.
No repair bills this year? No worries. We will give you up to $2,000 trade-in plus 0% interest up to 60 months. Manufacturer rebates plus 10-year parts and labor warranty on a new heating and air system.
Have an aging heating and air system? Out of warranty? We'll inspect it absolutely free. Call Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing today.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock and K, nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park within the Vale School District. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rock and K with home savings up to $35,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Caruso's, a Tucson tradition since 1938, located on historic 4th Avenue. For 4 generations, Caruso's handmade sauce has been prepared with love by a family member, using only the best ingredients. Enjoy specialty Italian dishes like lasagna al forno, chicken tetrazzini, real Italian sausages, spectacular pizza, as well as many vegetarian options. Caruso's offers outdoor dining on their garden patio, with indoor dining also available. Open Tuesday through Sunday, with all your favorites available for takeout. For more information, call 520-624-5765 or visit their website at carusositalian.com.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290. Who is today's Pest of the Game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
All right, who is going to be that Colgate Raider that gets underneath our skin today, as the Wildcats and Raiders will tip it off at 1 o'clock over at McKale Center? Might it be the son of the great legendary PJ Carlesimo? I'm going to go with Kyle Carlesimo just because he's famous. He's played in 6 of the 7 games. He hasn't started any of the games. A rebounder, mostly. Doesn't score a whole lot. But, he's a kid that's probably been inside buildings like this before, seen these types of games. So I'm going to go with Kyle Carlesimo, PJ's son, as the guy that could, if he gets hot. He's only made 2 of 11 shots, so he's bound to get hot here sooner or later. If today's that day, he could make life troublesome for the Arizona Wildcats.
And my guy is going to be Nicholas Lewis Jocks. I think he was a player of the week the last week or whatever. So, to me, he's a guy you're going to have to watch out for. When you play these type of teams, you have to watch out for shooting, for sure.
I'll go with Ryan Moffitt. He's a 5th-year senior. Interesting because we were talking to the play-by-play guy. He's playing a little outside this year because they're playing the 2 bigs on the inside. But I watched a lot of highlights of this team, and if I had a comp, he's Pella on that team. So he's a guy who's strong, 6'7", strong with the ball, 3-level guy. He's averaging 7 3-point attempts this year on the season, which is twice as much as he's ever shot in his career. But he's a 3-level guy, so he will take the ball to the basket. He's got some mid-range stuff, and he's launching a bunch from 3. So because of the way the Arizona defense rolls, I just think that's the kind of guy on a team like this that if he gets it going, it's going to open up outside looks for a lot of the open shooters. He's a penetrator and kicker guy as well. So I think Ryan Moffitt's got to be the guy you got to watch out for me.
Yeah, Ryan Moffitt shot. He's a career 44% three-point shooter. And of guys coming back this year, active players, that is second nationally in Division I. So a guy that can knock down the three, third all-time in three-point shooting percentage in the Patriot League. So definitely Ryan Moffitt, a guy to watch for. Nicholas Louis Jacques. I just like that name. Nicholas Louis Jacques. NLJ has started all 7 games so far this season for the Colgate Raiders. So those are our pests: Nicholas Louis Jacques, Ryan Moffitt, and Kyle, PJ's son, Carlissimo.
That's today's Pest of the Game. The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Visit BePestFree.com.
Caleb Love will start at guard for the Arizona Wildcats today. He put the final nail in the coffin, or helped put the final nail in the coffin last Thursday, Thanksgiving Day in Palm Springs.
I think he's off to KJ Lewis, slams it home with 11.5 to go, and Arizona up by 6. Oh, what a big play. The play.
And it was Caleb Love. He got that big steal at the end of the game. Yeah, got the big steal at the end of the game that led to the KJ Lewis dunk to put the final nail in the coffin for the Wildcats against Michigan State last Thursday. 74-68 was the final there. Tommy Lloyd this week on Caleb Love as a defender, and if he is buying into things at the defensive end for the Wildcats.
I think he's shown a lot of growth, and I definitely think he's given effort. I think he understands the schemes. I definitely know there's areas he'll continue to get better, and we're going to work on those.
It's so obvious, Kelvin, that Matador thing, right? It's really obvious when a guy is doing everything within their power to keep somebody in front of him on the perimeter. Perimeter defense is hard. You can't fake that. And I don't know about Caleb Love. I saw a lot of his highlights at UNC. I'm not so sure about the effort he gave on defense there. I would imagine similar, but I haven't seen any deficiencies in his effort on this side over here in Tucson.
Yeah, man, I watched him play at North Carolina, and I thought he was a pretty good defender there as well. But, the narratives come out, and as a player, you hear him, and some of the things you take in, and some of them you let out. But he's here for sure proving that he's locked in with this group and the defensive effort that they're making.
And that's one of those things, right, where maybe UNC's team defense isn't great, and since you're the star player, right, that's going to come at your feet.
That's how it goes.
Well, and I'll go back to what I said earlier in the show. I think if there's one concern that I took away from the Michigan State game when it got rough for this team is they were getting beat off of straight line drives, letting those guards get by them at the top and into the defense. And a couple times it was Caleb Love. I saw Jaden Bradley get beat a couple times as well. So it wasn't just one guy. It was a number of guys. Keyshawn Johnson on another occasion was a guy that got beat off the dribble at the top. So I think as a whole, obviously this is a very good defensive team, but I think if that continues to happen, you're going to see teams start to try to exploit that in this defense.
Well, when that happens, I don't care what team you're playing against, that means that you're not connected. That means that the guys are not all rotating together. You can stay in front of guys, but if you're up on a guy, usually most Division I guys could get by you. So the help is going to be important, whether it's the digging in from the help side defense from another guard or the big man that's stepping up and being a little bit more intimidating. So that's a team defensive thing when you see a guy blow by a guy. It should be the next guy there, the Pella Larsons of the world, to take the charge. Barlow there to wall up, or Keyshawn to block a shot. You have to be that connected on defense if you're going to win a championship, because guys are going to get by sometimes. If you're getting up and playing pressure defense, guys are going to get by you sometimes with screens, sometimes with little moves, but the other guys have to cover you.
And to be fair, those straight line drives at the end, what happened was Michigan State was having no luck with their motion. And so what they did was high pick and roll at the top of the key about 25 feet away for about 10, 15 minutes straight there at the end of that game. All they did was bring a big up, have one of their swing men take that screen 22, 23 feet away, and if the guy trailed and went over the top of the screen, that's the, quote, blow by. It was just a big screen out there at the top, and what then, Kelvin, needs to happen is whoever's protecting the paint, whoever's stepping up into that secondary defensive role, they're the ones really. I don't put that on the guard. Yeah. That's just a screen situation. That's the intention of MSU's offense in that case.
You have to force that ball back outside. And sometimes guys were staying connected to the shooters, and you have to come in and take away that paint and force the ball back out to the three. So you're in a dilemma sometimes where you don't want to help the team come back and come off your guy and they knock down an open three, but you don't want to allow straight line drives, giving up easy layups. So to me, and I guarantee you Coach feels the same way, take away the layups and force that guy to make that low percentage three-point shot.
Well, and they got better at that at the end of the game because the final 4 minutes, they did turn Michigan State back into a jump shooting team.
They went small.
Yeah.
They took Ballo out, and then they had, Key shot at the 5, Pell at the 4.
And so you switch everything.
Yeah.
So now you kill. I mean, hey, now I'm telling on my my scouting report. So let me be quiet here.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the scouting report or the keys to the game.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
Well, my number one key continues to be downhill Caleb Love. Downhill Caleb Love. I think he's better when he gets going early, trying to drive and get his points versus settling for the jumper. So I want to continue to see him maybe try to do that more early, try to get points in the paint, get some of those runners, get more layups going early, and then once you're in a flow, start to try to maybe find your jumper. I think it works better for him that way. And I'll go back to what I said in the last segment. I'd like to see, again, I want to see the development of my 8, 9, 10 guys in a game like this. I want to see my Paulius Morauskas get some positive minutes and be able to contribute. Philip Borovicinen, who we've not seen a lot lately. I think that's important to get those. And Jaden Bradley continue to progress 7, 8, 9. Because you're going to need those guys down the line, especially with these tight games that are going to be coming up.
Yeah, and I go back to what I was just saying before. I want to cover the three-point shooters. No wide open looks. I want to switch all perimeter screens because I don't want to give these guys no opportunity to get a clean look at the basket. When you switch out there, it's tough for guys to get the different matchups that they're looking for so they can get the space they need to get their shots off. So I want to switch everything on the perimeter. Dominate the boards. You're playing against a smaller team. You don't want to allow second chance shots because what happens is they rebound those and they throw them out for three-point shots. And usually it's open because when you're on defense, you box out as a guard and you start sliding in the rebound. And it opens up guys that relocate on the perimeter. So you got to really dominate those boards and not allow that. And then I said, take care of the ball. The changing defenses, they're going to be running some zones. They're going to be running some fake full court trap type things. You want to take care of the basketball and make sure you don't give them easy opportunities to score.
Yeah, basically my first, I wrote them down here. It's like I'm not copying off Kelvin's paper over there. Here. Yeah, here you go. Number 1, KYP, because that team over there shoots 42% of their shots are from deep. So as far as knowing which guys are shooters, making sure you get out on those shooters, don't let them get easy looks. That's number 1. Number 2, dominate the boards. I want to see at least 15, plus 15, because that's not a big team over there. Arizona just needs to impose their will under the paint, under the basket. And number 3, just the suffocating defense on the interior is a big key for me, just because Colgate's only shooting 43% from the field as a team. And obviously a lot of their shots come from outside. You're going to see that number down a little bit. But just it's about Arizona establishing their identity as a team. And I just think as good as you'll see the numbers on the offensive side, I think this is the best, if not one of the 2 or 3 best defensive teams in the entire country. Once everybody's on the same page, establish that. 1 game in 1 week. Talked a lot about that during the show. Games like this coming up against a senior-laden team that's been in the NCAA tournament the last 4 years, that's a good team. They're going to run their stuff, get good looks. Just make sure you impose your will defensively on the interior and don't let them go inside out like they're trying to do.
All right, that's what we think the Wildcats need to do to beat Colgate today at McKale Center.
Wildcats fans, that's our keys to the game. Brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right. A lot of talk with Tommy Lloyd this week about whether Colgate's system was very similar to the Princeton offense. Obviously, Princeton knocked the Wildcats out of the tournament last year. Hey, how similar is Colgate to Princeton, maybe even the legendary Princeton offense from the 1980s?
Bruce, I want you and I to go to Bob Dobbs, and I want you to explain to me what the Princeton system is in your eyes, because I think it's a very overused term. Do you know Princeton could run our offense? They could run Arizona's offense at Princeton, and it would still be the Princeton offense. So, it's listen, he's a good basketball coach.
Just a sense of, here's a mid-major program that's always seemingly in the tournament or making a bid for it. They got better.
I mean, I don't see many things I would equate to the Princeton system as I know the Princeton system. We're going back to Pete Carrill. But they are very well coached, very sound in their approach. They have good players. They've had an ability to really shoot the ball from the perimeter over the years. They have multiple guys they post up. So yeah, I mean, it's just a really sound, well-coached basketball team who probably doesn't have many elements of the Princeton system as you are thinking of them in their system.
More is like you said, sound veteran players.
Yep.
They take their time looking for shots that high assist to field goal ratios.
Yeah, no. Listen, they're just a good basketball team. They're efficient, and they play a really good style of basketball that's really effective for them.
We could go ahead and define the Princeton system if we want. I mean, it's really simple. What Princeton did is they would have 5 shooters on the court, and then you had to get out on them. And if you over-pursued or tried to get passing lane or tried to take the ball, try to make sure they didn't catch the ball, they would go backdoor on you, and that was the Princeton system. Simple enough.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to be at Bob Dobbs for that breakdown with Tommy Lloyd and beat writer Bruce Pascal. That would be something to see. Tommy Lloyd, Club Tommy, he's open every week here in Tucson. Tip your waiters and waitresses.
Who's buying the burgers and the beers in that scenario?
I think probably Tommy. He's the man that makes the money, so he's got to buy, right? Let me give you the starting lineups for today's game.
The foundation of a great college basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature.
All right, at one guard, Kylan Boswell, 6'2", sophomore out of Champaign, Illinois, averaging a team-high 14 points. He's got 23 assists to just 11 turnovers. Caleb Love at the other guard, 6'4", 205-pound senior out of St. Louis, Missouri. It is Caleb, though, who is leading the team with 28 assists. Pelle Larsson in the 3-guard set, 6'5", senior out of Nacka, Sweden. He is 26 of 28 from the foul line this season. At forward, Keyshawn Johnson, 6'7", senior out of Oakland, California, averaging 13 points and 7 rebounds. He was the MVP of the Acrisure Classic and the win over Michigan State. And the man in the middle, Umar Ballo, 7-foot redshirt sophomore out of Mali. He is the career field goal leader at Arizona, currently shooting 64%. That's going to wrap up the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. It is the Wildcats and the Colgate Raiders. Tip-off at 1 o'clock. Network takes over next. Thanks to Calvin. Thanks to J-Dub. Most of all, thanks to you for listening. We'll talk to you after the game. Enjoy it, everybody. Bear down, Arizona.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson. David.